live later today? And I'm like, maybe. And he's like, who's promoting his show in the chat?
Yeah,
And I'm like,
like, oh boy. Yep,
I was like, shit, I'm
Gustavo.
not
All right,
promoting anything.
we're about to go live.
Anyway, all right, sounds good.
All right, I think are we live, chat? Let's see. Always like to see the reaction from the chat to see if we hit it live because there's always like a little delay. Oh, but I think we're live right now. 1 2 1 2. What's up, chat?
I
Are we
say it.
live? Yep, we are live. Welcome, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. Your only friend, these YouTube streets, Puertorock77, and we are here with a Friday Night Live. Not a disagreement day, but a Friday Night Live where we could rock out and chill. And of course, I got special guest Jez from the Gaming Grindhouse. Someone that you guys requested. You put it up in the post that I have up. You wanted to see him, so he is here. So my man, Jez, what is going on, my brother?
Nothing much, man. I'm just getting over. As they know, I was just getting over getting a head cold. But I'm here and I'm ready for hanging out on Friday. But yeah, it's I'm a awesome list. I listen to your show every Tuesday. I'm the Monday night show, and there we go. And but yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Hit that like button. We're gonna be cooking today. Got the pots and pans. Bring the oils. We got Northeast New Yorkers in the house.
Absolutely.
You don't know what you got here. That's fireworks. The Northeast podcast.
There's gonna be some problems. There's gonna be some problems today, man. I really appreciate it, man. Oh, thank you so much for rocking through for the chat. Hey, I really appreciate it. I hope we have a great show for you guys. I really appreciate the love you guys have been showing me, and I really appreciate the response. Some of your recommendations, I'm like, man, you guys trying to have me climb the Himalayas for this show, but I'm gonna try. I mean, what's the worst that's gonna happen, right? All I can do is ask, and then the rest I leave in God's hands. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I truly appreciate what you guys are doing. We already got a super chat. Donnell Brown, he says, ain't nobody.
Yeah, Donnell trolling over there.
Look at this guy already trolling, man. Never mind him. He's a
Clippers I'm telling fan, you, man.
So he's a Clippers fan, so don't worry about
it. That's all right. All right, we got True Virgil here. He can't, True Virgil, where have you been? You haven't been on my show. I got my music for you.
Absolutely. Oh, man.
I see True Virgil. He's stalking.
Right.
He goggling. We got him.
Okay. All right. Well, but anyway, hey, for the chat, thank you so much for those watching live. I truly appreciate it. If you don't mind, please hit the like button and share the link out so we could get this going, so we could grow the family, grow the community. I truly appreciate what you guys have been doing. Also, if you're interested in becoming a member, the link is there pinned if you choose to do so. But ultimately, I really appreciate everything. All right, so of course, just like normal, we're going to talk about everything gaming, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Nintendo, anything that comes up, right? But of course, we got to start finding out what's grinding Jez's gears today. We always got to find out what's going on, man.
Hey, what's grinding my gears?
Yeah, what's grinding your gears?
Oof. Well, let me think. What is grinding my gears? Man, it's been so one of the things that's been going on is like I was talking about this earlier today in the sense of like, this whole they're talking about the new hardware, the next generation PlayStation 6s and stuff like that. Like, dude, that hardware talk does nothing for me. And I just feel like we're twins. Like, what happened to the promises that we had for this generation? The ray tracing and all that other stuff, and it's just like the performing games, man. I'm just like, I don't want to start talking about hardware. Like, don't we learn our lesson? Like, just like talking numbers and stuff like that. We got to see the software and what they can do with it. And yeah, that was just something that was there. And also, the Gamescom stuff. I don't know if you watched the show, but my goodness, Jeff Keighley and his shows. Somebody got to do something. Because these things are, when that dude said we got 2 hours to go, and when he's like, do you want to see these 4 trailers, Resident Evil, Ghost of Yotai, and things like that, and then the dude's like, and we'll 2 hours. I'm like, oh no, like 2 hours.
So I didn't watch the show. So Sean King, you see him sometimes as a panel member. He's the one with the 1,000 plats. On his Twitter account, he listed every single trailer that the show had. so you didn't have to watch the show. He did it as a, he did a tweet, and then in the replies, he just listed every single reply with the show. So that's how I did it. I saw every game that the show presented, and it was like 20 minutes.
You did the Cliff Notes.
Yeah,
Cliff Notes version.
I just saw the games.
That's good.
So everything in between.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, some of these shows aren't built like shows. All it is like, you really don't have to do shows no more. If you just show the game, just do a sizzle trailer or sizzle. Like, it doesn't feel like a show. It just feels like the long way of seeing a trailer on YouTube. Like, you're taking the long route.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel
well,
like
the interviews on the stage are what really get, like, when he has to interview somebody on the stage, and I know that's a presence for them to, get that exposure and stuff, but it just kind of slows things down when you're interviewing somebody like on the stage about that. And but it does slow it down. But yeah, I just want to just see the games and just see like what's coming out. But the thing is that he kind of took the Game Awards model and is just kind of using it for everything else. And it's just it's too, he needs to change it up a little bit, but it keeps growing. So I guess he's not going to change anything. And he charges probably for those seats anyway. So dude, he has to put on a show, I guess, for 2 hours.
I'm going to be honest. I'll be honest. This gen, I never been so disinterested in hearing a developer speak than ever before. I'm just not interested in hearing any developer speak. Not even Naughty Dog. And the reason why is this.
Mm-hmm. Oh no,
I
ambition
can't find
and all that stuff.
I'd be like, I used to be excited. Now I can't find the excitement in listening to a developer in a gen where games are delayed. It's taking forever to release games. When they do release the games, there's issues day one, or there's features missing. So I'm like, why am I listening to you? Like, why? Why? Like, you're not pushing boundaries. You're not pushing the envelope. So why should I spend an hour listening to you? Like, in the end, when your game comes out, hell, like Neil Druckmann, I didn't listen to any podcast, anything he says. I might see cliff notes and clips, but I'm not investing an hour in listening to Neil Druckmann in anything. I have not heard a full podcast from Neil Druckmann this entire gen. I refuse. Why am I going to listen to this man when he still hasn't released a game for me to play?
He's making movies though. That dude, he wants to be a Spielberg.
Yeah, he's talking HBO, he's talking TV shows, and then when he talks gaming, I'm like, bro, you didn't make a game this whole gen. So why? If I were to listen to him in an hour or 2 hour conversation, that's more hours just listening to the guy than actually playing games from him. I'm just not interested this gen. I just don't feel like listening to a developer this gen. I just don't. It's like, what's the point? Oh, with PlayStation or with gaming, we introduced and then when you play the game, you're like this is it. like game.
Well, the thing is like
but not to listen to them.
Yeah, and you think with the way how we share video and media is so easy to be shown, like we should be seeing so much more of the games themselves, and let the games do the talking in the sense of showing us the mechanics, and then have the developers kind of describe what we've seen. We do see a lot of just developers just kind of talking about what they like to do and what they want to do, and you want to know how much is going to happen, how much is going to be there. You appreciate the ambition, but is that going to be a reality and in the final product? So that's why you're right. Like when you just hear them talk, I think this whole kind of like this access and getting behind the scenes, it's sort of, the thing is though, and I made this analogy somewhere else. It was just, when you get a movie, you don't go straight to how the movie's made, the extras. You watch the movie first. Like, I'm going to watch the movie and then I will find out how you did the stuff. But I don't want to know the interviews and the talking about it before I even watch the movie. So let me see the game and then we'll talk about it. And, I feel like that's a better way of showing it. But I think one of the other things that, made me stand out this whole situation with these game shows and stuff, I do miss the E3 time. Like, I missed how the news was centered around that time. The way now games are shared and people hold on to them a lot longer or don't show as much. I feel like the news cycle of when the games are, like, it was like the Super Bowl of when we would get like the what's coming up for the holiday and what are we doing, and that it was really awesome. And I feel that without that E3 stuff, like, it's really been haphazard, fragmented. Here's a state of play, but it's going to be indies, it's going to be a third party one, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, and that's one thing I do Microsoft tries to keep that around and represent even with the stuff that they have. I just wish, the industry was more centered around that one. And I know Keely's trying to create that, but it doesn't look like he's getting the games that we used to kind of get revealed during those times.
Yeah, so like the big block, like I said, and I mentioned, I talked about this with other guests, right? That whole showpiece thing is gone. The showpiece of the games, it's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. It's almost like the competition to see who can bring out the big blockbuster games out to the market.
That holiday game or something.
To catch the eye of gamers. It just doesn't seem like it's there no more. It just seems like whatever is getting done is pretty much what developers can do based on what gets greenlit. They pitch a game to shareholders. Shareholders only care about maximizing revenue and profits. Like you can't take for example, like say Expedition 33, right? Got a lot of praise.
Mm-hmm.
It's from a indie developing studio,
Great
smaller
game.
studio, right? I don't think anybody in the AAA industry, a developer, let's say at EA or Ubisoft, right, can approach their shareholders, or whoever's in charge of the money, or whoever greenlights project, and say, "Hey, there's this great game, Expedition 33. We can really make a game similar to that, but with our budget, we could really take it to a whole new level." I have a feeling that the shareholder will be like, "How well did that game sell? Oh, it sold around 3-4 million. 3-4 million? Hell no, we're not doing that. No way. No, think of another project. Give us a project that'll sell 12-15 million, or do a live service game." And then at that point,
live service game.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like AAA games, like AAA games, like thank God we still have Capcom. Like my God, what would we be without them? But like a lot of these AAA things, I don't think it's about creativity or trying to compete, or try to make a better game within a certain genre. I think it's all profit driven, and the people who ultimately greenlight these projects, they don't care about the art side or advancing competition or try to make a better game than other people. I don't think they even care. If anything, they'll more be inclined to copy games. If there's a game out there that sells 20 millions, they'll demand that game gets copied, rather than come out with a competitor or go across the grain. So it's just a lot of things are changing for us, man.
And it's funny, it's because it's almost like the mobile space on how, if there's a mobile game that's going crazy, there's a whole bunch of copycats in there that just try to cash in as trickle over of a popular mobile game. And they just do what's successful, because games development, as they all say, is very risky and all this other stuff. Like, it's very costly, so they got to make sure that they don't, they try to chase a trend. But sometimes these games take so long that the trend has come and gone by the time the game comes out. So there's just been a lot of situations. I think that Exhibition 33 is a really great game. It came at the story that as soon as it hits with the music, and they're definitely, it's not to say the whole game it's negative in the sense. I just think that the way and it's probably more along the gaming media. That's the really thing that kind of grinds my gears. How easily manipulated and foolish the gaming media has become, and so non-reliant at all. And just being like trend chases or poking at just the fans and things like that, and manipulating people's thoughts and just saying outrageous things just to get traction and clicks. And I think that is the most disingenuous thing with a lot of gaming, that the media should be the ones that are curating and facilitating the developer's message and what these games are, and providing detailed information for us as consumers to purchase these games. Instead, the media turns into a glazing click fest in the fact that we could say some crazy rambunctious shit and we'll get people to click on us, even though we don't even believe it. We'll just title it as an opinion piece and get a bunch of clicks and buy a coffee at Starbucks. And the thing is that they're not being genuine to the watchers, the listeners. So the game details, we need to go watch streamers. We need to watch people who get hands-on to the game, and hopefully they're not influenced and stuff like that, because they may give a different opinion. So it's really it's so difficult for the consumer to really see through what games are and what games are coming and how to make good decisions, because the intermediary people, the media, is so just manipulative and so just bogus. And bloggers Oh, I'm a journalist. I'm a blogger. Which one are you today? And that's where I think like a lot of it falls flat.
I think a good portion of it is. I think also you're completely right. I also think grifting for the algorithm really took hold. Right, some people figure it out.
Yeah.
If you stay, even some people figure it out. If you stay consistent, even if it's a lie or grift, it just trends. It just hits the thing, right? And sometimes the grifting is more important than the truth. It's just how it is, right? Perfect example, the whole Metal Gear, Delta debacle. For whatever reason, the algorithm calls for that the PS5 Pro is a scam, and that's like the big deal, right? PS5 Pro and the performance, and yes, there is issues, no doubt. But that game has issues on every platform, right? The PC, there's PC streamers who stream the game. They couldn't even like play the game. The texture loading, the freeze framing, and this is with a 5090,
5080 or something.
They're like,
I saw that.
Yeah, they're like, what the hell is going on? But no one's really talking about it. They're focusing on the $700 and $750 Pro, but not on $2,000-$3,000 PCs. It's clear that UE5 and Konami and their developers are having issues across the board, But the grift demands to go after PlayStation because that's where the money is. The money isn't going after PC, and you would think the $3,000 gaming platform will catch the most heat because I don't know, you spend $3,000, $4,000. A GPU that's 2 Gs, you would think that would catch every gamer's attention. Like, yo, how the hell is a $2,000 GPUs having issues? And obviously it's not the GPU.
Well, yeah, it's the game,
the developer.
It's the game. Yeah, it's the developer. And
but
yeah,
you can't
and how many
that.
times we hear that so many times before? Like even for PC, like when I play on PC, like it's so crazy on like these games that you don't know what the results are going to be, and that's why you get the refunds and all that other stuff because these games are billed as like, oh, they're ready to go, and then you buy them, and then it's like, oh yeah, this don't run well because of this, and even the specs that they put out there, even if you have those specs, the game just is not optimized. And you look at certain things like and I was talking about this earlier too, like this whole AI and this upscaling and frame generation being like kind of like the features, but that's kind of a crutch if a game, oh, well, it's not performing. Remember they were trying to use like VRR as a way to be like, oh yeah, well that helps with the frame drops. If you have a VRR display, just turn that on and you won't get the tearing. It's like,
that's
dude, those are all just crutches.
Yeah. The more you spend on a platform, the higher the expectation that the game's default parameters should perform, right? It's just weird, like, and of course, me, I'm gonna clap back and talk shit. When I brought up the PC, a lot of PC gamers, but I have these options, consoles don't. I'm like, bro, what you're saying is you accept the issues and you're gonna apply concessions. You shouldn't. If you spend $3,000, there should be no concessions to the performance. It shouldn't be. There's no way you're spending $3,000 on a gaming platform. The game's not optimized.
They'll just refund it.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, that's okay because I could just reduce the settings and enable DLSS. I'm like, bro, you spent $3,000 and you're admitting that you're gonna fix it. You're gonna apply. You're gonna play it in a different way to accommodate the failure, and you find that as a good thing. Like, no. Like hold your platform to the highest standards of the money that you spent on. Like it's absolutely crazy and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So that so I think
But that game, it's a shame about that game too, man. Like I was thinking about it, and because I never played like the Metal Gear, I never played that one, and I was like, but now seeing what it is, I'm like, I guess I'm gonna wait like more, like because it's just Konami, the hair out their ass, what they're doing. So I don't know. It does suck, and that's why I'm saying like what led into the conversation in the sense of like we're here talking, they already like the PlayStation camness and this and the handheld and this one, and it's like, dude, look at what we got right now. When we just talk about Metal Gear, it's like what's going on right now? Like, what's until 2027? Here it comes. Like, yo, what about the promises that were made in 2022? Like in 2020 about ray tracing and minimum 60 frames and all this other shit, and it's like we got to get there before we talk about more hardware. And it's just like I'm like it's enough. And the Pro just came out last year, and it's just I don't know. It's
I'll be honest.
pretty wild.
The conversation of PlayStation 6 is already it's annoying. It's annoying. I hate it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like the Pro
I'm
is
not
not even
covering it.
the Pro's not even a year old. And we're talking about the PlayStation
Yeah.
6. Like what are we doing here?
I'm not even covering it,
what
man.
what
I'll
are
wait
we
till
doing
Sony
here?
comes.
Like what is this nonsense? Like what is this nonsense in rumors? And then like they muddied the waters with a PlayStation 6S handheld and like what are we
Well, he
talking
was
about here?
recommending it.
Yeah.
He was
But
like, "Whoa, I could see them do."
why would he recommend
How much is
that?
opinion? How
Like,
much?
Like that is stupid. Like who
Ah.
recommends that? We already saw the failure. Like all these hardwares. That's a stupid recommendation because bad enough Sony is adopting a multi-platform strategy. Now you want three
Yeah.
platforms within the ecosystems on top of the PS5 and PS5 Pro. Where's the focus? Where's the focus? That was the strength of the console. The focus effort to make games and get it at its best on the console. We don't have that no more. We don't have that. We're losing that more and more. What is a
more and
PlayStation
more?
6
And I remember what
S
you
gonna
say,
do?
and you say too, like now with Sony's development and knowing that it's going to go to PC, what are they doing that they would have not done before? Like, are they kind of making things knowing that, hey, we're going to have to work on that port right after this to put it on PC? I know you bring that up a lot, going like the mind change in the development, knowing where it's going to go. And I remember I used to have this, I had the same problem with when Microsoft was doing the Game Pass thing. And I was like, wait a second, what does a game for 2 billion gamers look like? Because that's all Phil keeps talking about. Or what does a game destined to go into Game Pass look
And you
like?
don't buy
They
it.
know what that people are not going to buy it. And we've seen we'll fix it later. Well, here's 30 frames, artistic design, developer decision. And you saw the caveats and the things that were made because they knew that it was for sale, but it was also going into this pool of Game Pass, and it was a lot of kind of we'll fix it later. And you got to think the same thing. Like as they're developing, they know that these game Nixus. What do you need us to put? Okay, you got it. You the Nixus, right side, Lucci. Like Nixus, you take care of this. We'll fix that on that one. But man, it is wild times. Like it is definitely wild times. And I always say my line for Sony is FAFO. So they keep pushing too much. They're gonna give that tipping point.
Yeah. So like so how, like you said, you just mentioned, right? Now that Sony is pretty much a multi-plat, they think if their games at a minimum PC, right? Every time they make a new game, they have to keep PC in mind. Like, and that's why I mentioned, I think it was the first time, the first time Extreme we jumped on the podcast. I'm like, that mindset's gonna go. Like, they're not gonna think of maximizing the potential of any of their consoles because you can't. It doesn't make sense from a business, not even from a business, from a technical development perspective, of making games. If the game is gonna go on PC a year later, even a year and a half later, day one of concept development has to include PC because you want to make the overall project and port easier. So that way, you're not stuck on delays and you have to explain to your bosses, timelines are going to be missed with the PC version. They're not trying to hear that. So the bosses already tell you, hey, all these games are going to PC. Some of them are day one, some of them, timed exclusives. It doesn't matter. They're not going to be like, well, since this game is timed exclusive, we don't have to focus on PC. No, they're going to focus on PC. Now, with that, I'm going to say the next step. Because they're already ingrained in making games for PC, the next step is making the hardware even more PC-like than it already is. They're gonna make it closer and closer to PC as ever before because they already know they're making games for PC. So the PlayStation 6, when they make it, it's not going to be like bells and whistles for the console to maximize console power. No, it's going to maximize efficiency between PlayStation 6 and PC. They're going to make it easier and easier to port games. The tools, the engines, everything, the dev kit, everything that's going to be for the PlayStation 6 is going to be designed with, it has to be easier to port games to PC than ever before. So even a console is going to have, even more, I don't want to say the word integration, but just even more commonality, So like bespoke hardwares that would normally be exclusive or specific for consoles that doesn't translate well to PC, that's gone. I don't see them doing that anymore. I don't see them doing specific, like PlayStation specific technologies that doesn't translate well to PC, and now they have to figure out another way, to do the same thing because PC doesn't have the specific technology Sony created. That's done. Sony's not doing that no more.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying they won't put special technologies in the PlayStation, but whatever technology they put in the PlayStation, that same technology is available on PC. They're not going to do anything PlayStation specific anymore because it doesn't make sense in the world of multi.
Or something that will yeah, like they're gonna streamline. Yeah, they're not gonna probably do something that would delay any kind of like time it takes for them to like make a port or things like that, or develop for like completely, like how what it was before, like with PowerPC. Like I know they're all similar with the AE6 architecture, but even like things that they're doing are derivatives from what's on PC, like the PSSR. That's derivative of FSR. So like, yeah, it's their spin and their chip and stuff like that, but I am sure it's not too far from like, so even when AMD updates their FSR or whatever like that, Sony could update their branded version of their thing. So they're getting closer and closer together with that. But yeah, it's really, the hardware wise, like again, like talking about the PS6, like it's more about what the software is, and I want to see what they're able to do with what they have already, because I feel like, we are getting a lot more games now that are, and I don't know if it's leftover from the developments of COVID and all that other stuff, but it just seems that, there's a lot of there seems to be more missteps than what traditionally we're used to in the previous generation.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to deal with more power, more transparency, more tools. And it's just like, and I don't know if AI is going to be the solution to all of it. But I just want to I just wanted to see more, just see what the software can do, because that's ultimately what we're buying. Like, the hardware is there, but you buy it for the games that run on there and play on there. So we'll see what they do. But yeah, just that kind of talk about what's coming next gen. I'm like, yeah, that don't excite me, by the way. Like, yeah, it's there, but I'm not happy. I'm not excited about it because I got to see what that means for us to play.
But I think Sony put themselves without realizing it, and I don't think they even care to realize it. They anchored themselves. Every decision they made, and this I feel this is just my opinion. I don't know how you feel about this, but the majority of the biggest decisions they made doesn't benefit the console owner. If anything, it impacts us, like as a PS5 owner or a potential PS6 owner. Number one, the studios they bought, right? They bought, what is it? The studio that's making
like service studios and Bungie,
yeah. Like they bought Bungie, the biggest purchase they ever done, $3.6 billion. That doesn't benefit the PS5 owner. That's not a PS5 owner or PS6 owner advantage because those games was coming to PlayStation anyway. That's $3.6 billion. Hell, they could have just spent $1 billion and they could have created 4 AAA games at $250 million apiece. But instead, they spent $3.6 billion so they can focus on live service, which is a multi-platform strategy, which at a minimum is PlayStation and PC, with potential of going to Nintendo and Xbox, depending on the game, right? Because we already seen that with Helldivers. So at a minimum, the door is open for these live service games to also be on Xbox and Nintendo, right? So Bungie, $3.6 billion to make games for PC, Xbox, Nintendo. Okay, gee, thanks. That's great for the PS5 owner, especially when the games was coming to PS5 anyway, right? New Haven Studios, right? Haven Studios, another purchase of a studio that makes multiplats, which again, because it's live service, not only is on PC day and date, we got to remember that, but potentially.
What do you think about fair games, dude? Like when do we think we're gonna see that game?
It's useless.
J. Raymond hightailed it out.
I'd rather have them just close the studio down, to be honest. Right? And some people could say I'm a fanboy, but listen, if they close the studio
I didn't see
down,
anything in that game.
What does it do to me? Nothing. If they do make a game, it's a game that's on PC and potentially on Xbox and Nintendo. Like again, another purchase, another focus that has nothing to do with the PS5 gamer. Like nothing. If that studio, if Haven Studio was never bought and they were doing their own thing, and let's say they got a Tencent as a publisher, we still would have gotten fair games. With $0 being spent by Sony. Fair games would have still been on PlayStation, PC, whatever platform. We still would have gotten the game at no cost from PlayStation. But PlayStation decided to take it over and spend money on that studio, vice either investing studios that they do own, Like for example, Sucker Punch. They were in an interview about a couple of weeks ago, and interviewer asked about was there any potential bringing back Infamous, whether a remake or new title, and they said, hey, we would love to make another Infamous. They just can't right now because they have to focus on finishing Ghost of Yotai. So what that means is they don't have enough people to work on 2 games. Why?
Mm.
Why is the studio that brought you Ghost of Tsushima, brought you Infamous 1 and 2? Why are they still pigeonholed to just one game for a 5-year period? Why can't they? Why didn't Sony invest in the studio so they could have at least 2 teams? So while one team was working on Yotai, the other team's already working on Infamous.
Mm-hmm.
If they would invest.
Well, yeah,
in
like just like they do in Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
Look at Naughty Dog. Well, they create a whole franchise by splitting up what they were doing, like with Last of Us and Uncharted. Like they didn't just keep them on Uncharted. They spun off. Like and yeah, and I don't know, man. I don't know what is going on, but you would think like, hey, they had a strategy. It was working for them, working for their brand, and then they just went into the service focus and just weird stuff and chasing. I said that they like these companies with this whole like service thing, not that I hate all service games, but the financial, they want to chase this gold, the whales. They want to chase that little Timmy who has his mom's wallet for the weekend so he could go buy all the battle passes, and they just want that. And it's just crazy because look at what happened to EA, right? Look at EA was like pumping out these games and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden they slowed. They were doing Titanfall. They were throwing Titanfalls out of there. They made one the incredible Titanfall 2, and then all of a sudden Apex Legends shows up in a stealth drop, and that one just keeps it going. And all of a sudden EA puts its head back in its shell, and now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, EA is like, they'll do their games, and then they try to implement that stuff and put all that stuff in the Battlefields, and they got screwed with that, and now they listen and they're coming back, and I'm hyped as hell for Battlefield. But you can't see what EA Army of Two, what they used to be putting out. They were putting out some games, man, and then Apex hit and it slowed up because now they got this recurring money coming in. They don't need to be spending money to make money because Apex is just sitting out there, throw a couple of skins, and now we sit back and relax. And that life, that experience, a lot of these corporations are looking for in trying to find that golden goose. Like, get that game out there that's just going to be set it and forget it, and we'll get that Fortnite money or get something like that. And they're all chasing it. And, like you said, they're sacrificing maybe some of the talent that got them to where they were, or the experiences that they were making that got them to where they were, in lieu of chasing this situation. And that's why I thought last generation was really good, because third party was the ones that messing around with the multiplayer and stuff, and Sony was filling in the niche of first single player story games. So much so that even Phil Ness Spencer was going back when Horizon and Zelda came out. Phil Spencer comes around going, well, single player games don't have the impact that they used to have anymore. And people are like, Phil, go home, you're drunk. And he had to take that back. But Phil was shitting on single player games because the chase was for that multiplayer. And Sony stayed the course and was making those single player games, filling in that space. And what happened? Look at the games now that Phil bought. They were all single player games. Dude did a full 80, but like he was shitting on first part, like single party games, and they don't have the impact. When Horizon was coming out and Zelda, wild.
But
they want the multiplayer shit.
Yeah, and I get the investment into the live service game because like you said, they see the benefits and the amount of money they could make from a successful live service game. But what I don't understand is the stagnation investment into their current studios, right? Into their own first party studios.
That surprised me too, yeah.
That created the biggest blockbuster. Like, why wouldn't you want to give Sucker Punch the capability to make more than one game in the same gen? Why only limit them to that, right? That's what I don't understand, right? And also what I don't understand is and let me before I make my next point, let me do some of these super chats. I truly appreciate the audience. Glassdoor Gamer says Helldivers didn't sell because it didn't have a box in its name. P-Rock and Jez, not bootleg, is a lethal as Tyson 1-2 punch. Have a great show. Thank you, Glassdoor Gamer. Right, we got the Major Claridge. He gifted someone a membership, so whoever received that membership, please reach out to the Major, and give him some love, show him some love. We got Michael Meridian. Shout out to my 2 favorite content creators. Wow. Thank you so much, Michael. Really appreciate it. I'm
Yeah,
glad.
Michael.
I'm glad we could get this together for you. The Major sent another gift membership. So if you also received a membership, please give a shout out to Major Claridge. All right, and then Major Claridge, just for shits and giggles, $2. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for rocking the channel and providing membership opportunities for the chat. Glassdoor Gamer with the super chat says, "This gen to me will be known as the acquisition gen that destroyed studios and rearranged the industry. Microsoft and their buy it all mindset hurt." Interesting. You know,
Yeah,
I think it
consolidation
was a
gen.
catalyst. I think it was a catalyst, right? Between Tencent,
Yeah.
who was the one that's Embracer
Oh,
was another
dude.
one that
Yo, we
acquired
had
a
2 years
crap
of people
ton.
watching daytime court TV, man. We had 2 years of gaming news
Yo,
was like, who's on the stand today, dude?
dudes wearing
Yo, it was
suits,
Phil Spencer's in a suit.
making videos in
He's in
suits.
a suit.
You
Dude,
can't make
he
this shit
was in
up,
a
bro.
suit.
You can't make
Dude,
this
it
shit
was Judge Judy. They turned into Judge Judy daytime TV. They're like watching I never learned so much about the government in the last 2 years with that stuff, dude.
We all of a sudden
dude.
lawyers. What is it? Rogues?
Yo,
Rogues
yeah.
Law. Now he's on. We got
Rogues
lawyers
Law.
on podcasts, on gaming podcasts. We have whole ass
Florians.
lawyers. We got the Florians. People sucking up.
I
some
never heard
Liu
Florian.
Chang.
Dude,
Like what
where
is
Florian
going
be?
on
Where
in
is
this
he?
community, bro? Now if you're Florian Mueller, whatever his name is, Lulu Chang, like everybody's hyping up execs and like what the hell? Yo, this is crazy.
Yo, that's what's his name? That's the Lulu. Yo, that Lulu scam, man. Oh
And
my
once
goodness.
she got her check and left Activision, deuces,
Dude,
never spoke
I
to the
remember
gaming
her
community
take-
again.
Yo,
Laughing, bro. She
I
took
remember
bag
her
and
taking
left.
pictures with Sarah Bond going girl power. I was like, oh, and Lulu got the check. She's like, Lulu. Oh man.
Oh my god, bro. This thing is hilarious.
Dude, that was Post Up's girlfriend. Oh shit,
Oh,
pause.
man. Yo, no, oh man. It was a crazy time, bro. It was absolutely tight.
Dude, it was crazy. It was crazy. Legal documents were coming out every day. It was like people like page 15 highlighted. I'm like, what the hell is this?
We got acquisition experts out the gold. Oh my god, this was like, man.
We had bootleg Jez condemning the CMA, his own country, saying he was gonna leave. Oh, like, it was wild.
Yo, man. Oh man. Oh my god.
Lena Khan. They were going after her too, man.
This is hilarious. That was some crazy times. And all that
In the name
nonsense,
of gaming.
all that nonsense. And guess what Microsoft was doing? They were making Sea of Thieves in the background. You can't make this up, bro. I'll be honest, man. That period, even with Sony, I don't know what Sony and Microsoft was doing in that court trial. Because, they're arguing against each other. Sony's like, oh, if this happens to Microsoft, we'll lose this. And Microsoft saying, no, it's not that. And they're going back and forth. And that whole time, they're making more games for PlayStation.
Yo,
and Jim Ryan
Phil,
knew.
Phil ordered the frosted glass.
All knew.
He had the frosted glass from Home Depot.
So I'm like, so what the hell are they arguing about? They knew what was happening. So was this a facade? Is this just like court case TV drama? Like, what were they doing? Like, what were they arguing
Jim
about?
Ryan, they flew his ass all over the place. He aged like 10 years.
Like, what the hell is going on here? Like, what is Sony
now he's
against the merger for? Like, you knew they were making games for you.
Right?
Sony knew. They gave him dev kits. So why are you crying? Like, I don't understand.
Exactly. I don't know what. Yo, Jim Ryan was. I don't know what. You're right. He didn't get the message, man. He's there fighting. That's how Lulu got famous, because Lulu's like, Jim Ryan said he just wants to stop the deal. I was like, oh man. And then she became famous, and everybody loved Lulu because she was ratting on Gordon Ramsay Ryan. And like, he's just running around saying it's raw deal. And they're like, you're right. And they're porting Sea of Thieves with the frosted glass.
Yeah,
I was like, what the hell's going on here?
He knew Sea of Thieves was coming. Like, what the hell?
Bill Smells to show him the receipt. Because I just ordered a truckload of frosted glass. I'm gonna be cooking.
Maybe because he was retiring, they didn't tell him. They're like, he's retiring. Don't worry. That's what I think. They're like, let the old man.
Didn't tell him. Just like he went over to Studio London and shut them down, and he didn't tell them. So they said, let's do the same thing to Gordon Ramsay.
I can only imagine Jim Ryan's like, yes, I'm gonna go to the United States and I'm gonna argue this case, and everybody else in the studio is like, he doesn't know. Like I don't think he
Yeah,
knows.
Toki's like, yeah, go. Use the miles.
Yeah,
Get,
sure, guy.
go.
Go ahead, fight the good fight. Like, and the rest of the
Yeah.
studio's like, does he know Microsoft's making games for us now? I don't think he knows. He probably has dementia. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
He has the red, yeah.
Yeah, dementia. He didn't
Like,
realize what was happening.
those Ryan cookies.
They just let him act the fool on the internet.
Yeah.
Without telling
He
him
was
that,
fighting for the. He was fighting them too, man. He was like, I don't want a 2-year deal. Like he was like he wanted more year deals for the Call of Duty. He goes, I don't want the 2-year deal. I want the 10-year deal, dude. What about the 10-year deal? Nintendo, they're already in it for they're already 6 years in. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Nintendo got 6 years left on the 10-year deal.
I don't know.
Like 7 years left.
Yeah, man.
Oh man, Nintendo not even getting Call of Duty yet long.
It's a good shit, man. But that's the thing, you know what? But here's the thing: Nintendo don't give a fuck. Excuse my language.
They don't care.
You can't hurt them with something they didn't build their brand. See, that's the thing I give Nintendo.
They just used them. They just used them.
Yeah, Nintendo is not going to build
for that
their
whole
brand.
thing.
Yeah, Nintendo's not going to build their brand off a third party. They learned their lesson. You can't hurt them and say you got better third party when Nintendo's like your third party sucks. Third party games suck.
Yeah.
Our games are better.
But they use Nintendo as a like Nintendo signed a 10-year deal with us, so like everybody should do it. Dude was walking around with the contract in his pants. Like it was wild times, man. But that was like a whole part of our generation. This generation of gaming was that crazy shit. Crazy 2 years of Activision.
It's insane.
Insane.
We got Liquid Data. He says, "What's good, gents? P-Rock, you playing Battlefield 6 when it comes out? Hell, bro, you know me better than anybody else. If I do play it, it's the single player. All right, that's about it.
Dude, that's just awesome. Battlefield's incredible.
And you got to split this super chat with Jez, laughing my ass off. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna send them a $5. I'm gonna send them a $5 McDonald's gift certificate.
Coupon.
You know,
I'm gonna
send them a $5 McDonald's gift certificate so he could get large fries because that's about the only thing you could get at McDonald's for $5.
Yeah,
that's it. Large fries without the salt. They won't even add salt.
Oh shit.
Gordo P23. Thank you for the super chat. Gordo says P-Rock and Jez coming together. Pause. Whoa. Pause. We're here live on the show and stuff, right?
Like I'd have to go back and look at the.
So you don't play any multiplayer? You don't like any shooters or anything like that? You didn't try it?
No, I used to like it. I used to play a lot of multiplayer. I just got tired of it because it's repetitive.
Did you try Battlefield beta?
No,
did you try it?
Hell no.
Online?
I'm not gonna do that.
Oh.
No, it's not. It's
Yo,
not
just walk around with a grenade launcher and knock down friggin' buildings.
No,
you don't need to shoot people.
The point is, like, now I'm at the point where I want to start a game, learn the game, and finish the game. I'm not interested in putting hours. Like, I don't even play Madden or MLB The Show online anymore. Like, I'm not interested. Like, even Street Fighter, which I used to love playing, I don't really play that anymore. Like, so even the fighters, little by little, are like, I'm not interested in putting hours into a skill set and then use it online against somebody else. I just want to play a game, learn the game, enjoy the game, and beat the game, and then move on to the next game, which is pretty much single player. That's where I'm at in my life.
Yeah.
I'm not really interested in dedicating time to develop a skill set for competitive play. You know what I mean? I'm just not.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, Battlefield is freaking awesome. Like it was great.
It probably is
because it's definitely not more of that. Like
I have to keep playing to be better than other people, and I'm not interested in being better than another person.
It's not as I find it is not as competitive. Like Call of Duty's a Twitch shooter, things like that, kill death ratios. Battlefield, you could do a lot of other things instead of like having to have the most kills and stuff like that. Like I said, just knock down buildings on people. That's what I do. I just run around C4 and just be dropping like whole ass buildings on people. And even if I get shot, I just like revive me so I can hit the button to the C4 and just watch my explosion. I'm like special effects man.
Yeah.
But yeah, Battlefield's awesome though. Yeah, that's really good.
So that's just that's just pretty much why I don't really play multiplayer as much. It's just not interesting anymore. You know, I'm not interested.
You know what a fun game is? I'm gonna tell you one that I was playing a couple of weeks ago, and it's a multiplayer game. But it is hilarious shit. It's the Midnight Murder Club. It was like $10. It came out like in.
I've seen the trailer on the PlayStation
It is
Store.
friggin' hilarious. Yeah, it is so funny because like you're in this mansion, and it's just you have control of a light and a gun, and basically it is like deathmatch in there. But there's this thing called wild cards, and you get them, and you could just put them up. One person puts it up a game, and they could change the game around. One's like the flashlight is brighter. One is like there's you can have chandelier traps, but the one that I loved was booty mode. And I play this thing because it's all about sound. Because you turn off the lights, it's like hide and seek. Booty mode, basically everybody's farting. So like you can't sneak around. You just be hearing, and it's like, who did that? He's in the room. Dude, it's freaking hilarious.
You're gonna have Craig Harris all up in there. He's like, did someone say
shit, yo, chocolate? They were doing Chocolate Thunder in every room. I had them busting ass.
You better get it ready,
dude. Everybody, but it's so funny because people are trying to sneak up on you, and then you hear, it's like, oh shit, there he is, who busting ass, yo. And I activated that card because it was hilarious.
That's hilarious.
But it is like hide and seek, and it has the best it has like the sound like proximity chat. So like you hear people in other rooms and stuff, and the voice reverbs based off of like the room you're in. So it's like the most incredible thing that you're in a room with rugs, you'll hear like a muffled sound, but when you go to the atrium, you hear a reverb, and you could tell where people are, and it's this open chat. It is pretty wild, and it was like, and what's cool about it is when you get it, you actually have 5 codes that anybody could play. You don't need to buy it. So you always have like friends. You can just jump in a room and just mess around. Really? It's pretty fun.
How's that?
Yeah.
How that works?
So basically there's like, it's sort of like how Split Fiction is, where you get like there's a guest version, which is basically the full game. And as long as you invite them to the room, they have the guest version. They get access to the full game play. And as long as you're hosting, you get,
so
they get 5 people that can
just there's like a guest version to download.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. A free version, like a free.
Yeah,
version
and then as long as you're hosting. Yeah, so I'll invite you, man, if you want to try it out. But it's fun. I had the stream, man. It was friggin' hilarious, and it's cross-play, and you could play it on PC or PlayStation, and it works the same way. They could download the version on Steam and still use the invite. It's pretty crazy, man. I was like, where did this game come from? I know J-Dub was playing it like back in March, and I just bought it like a couple weeks ago.
That is funny.
But it's funny shit.
That's funny. That's really interesting.
It is some wild stuff, man. But yeah, that was what I was playing there. But anyway.
Question.
But that's fun. But yeah, this the multiplayer stuff is truly fun.
Yeah. What? Have you played did you get either Gears Reloaded or Los Solo Side?
So I played Gears Reloaded for the beta, and then I tried it on PC on my handheld on yesterday. But the thing with Gears Reloaded is that I played so much Gears because I've Xbox through and through. Like I had an Xbox. I was diehard. I had everything. So I played it all.
You were there for the glory days of Xbox.
I was there until the Xbox One. Okay. And then I started buying a PlayStation. Like, so what happened when Phil Spencer came out on stage and said Xbox One is $500, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take that money. And I had a PC that I was playing, like, you know, the games that they were doing in basically, you know, cross-buy and stuff. But I was like, I'm going to use that. I'm going to try a Pro. And I bought a PlayStation Pro, and I started downloading the games that I missed out on. And man, I was just started buying more and more games from there. And I was just like, I remember when I played Uncharted 4. I was like, holy shit, and I stood up and I was like clapping on that scene when you're on the back of the you're jumping from car to car and you're hanging. I'm like, holy crap, this game is insane. And I just was stuck, and I just started buying all their games, and then I started building up the library on there. But I had everything for Halo and Gears. I love Halo. Halo's my favorite. But Gears definitely grew up playing that stuff. So I played so much of Gears. I had Gears Ultimate. And then playing this one, I'm like, going back to the first Gears of War, it's so rough because they did so many things in Gears 2, like the wall bouncing and the sticking the grenades and stuff to people and sticking it to the walls, setting traps. All that stuff wasn't in the first one. And going back to the first one, it's like, yeah, this was fire when there was nothing else to play, but it's sort of like going back in a time machine. Like, it has that reminiscing, but you're like, man, I remember when Gears had you used to hold somebody as a hostage, and I would always do this. You stick them with a grenade and kick them at somebody, and they would just blow up at somebody. Here's your teammate, and you blow them up. Dude, they did that. They didn't have that in the first one. So like, some of that stuff is missing. So I wasn't so eager to get it.
It's too old, especially like if you.
Yeah, they didn't update it. They should have like did 2 or 3 that one. So we'll see. Hopefully E-Day, when that comes out, I'm excited to see that because that is definitely a prequel on that one. And then Lost Soul Side, I just was it? I get them confused. Lost Soul Side and Phantom Blade Zero. Holy shit, I keep mixing them up. But Phantom Blade Lost Soul Side that just came out, right? That's the one. Phantom Blade. Yeah. Which one is it? Is it
Lost Soul Side?
Lost Soul. That one. Oh my god. I that is like a tongue twister for me. I keep reverting. I just tried the demo a little bit. I only played for like 15, 20 minutes. And not really sticking with me. I do like the Devil May Cries and stuff. I just feel like this it's a little off from what I played. But again, I only played the demo. I'll have to play some more and see. But I do feel like it's missing like effects and I don't know. It feels a little rough from just a few minutes I played though.
Yeah,
I know you were waiting for it though. You have been hyped for you. Did you play it yet?
So I'm playing it. Yeah. So I started today. I already put in a couple of hours. I do have some. I think hopefully it'll end up a good game. I think it's so far okay, but the initial draw is not there. So like graphically. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I expected more, right? I expected more from a graphical look. So I'm not really impressed with the graphics. So far, the gameplay and the fighting, I'm still early in the game, obviously, right? So obviously the combos is going to expand. It's going to get better. Combat's going to develop. Because obviously you have to learn new move sets and stuff like that. So, but so far the initial combo, it's traditional like Devil May Cry stuff. So some of the stuff is there. But other stuff that I look at, the one thing that really is irritating, this is the one thing that's irritating is, so when I went to the settings menu to look at the performance options, it only has 2. It has quality and performance mode, right?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, that's usually the basic stuff, but to me that's basic for third party, right? With Sony funding this game right from the get-go, why does it not have the extra performance options like the first party? We're using VRR and HFR, so like unlock frame rates or so you can have quality mode, but
Sony
40
Ninjas
FPS, all the stuff, like all the extra modes. Like you can have full quality mode, but at 40 FPS or unlocked, and just let the game, all the stuff that they did with Horizon and Spider-Man. And I know the studio is not a native first-party studio, but this is a Sony purchased, funded game. This is a Sony funded game from the ground up for like 8 years.
Oh yeah, it says Sony Interactive.
Since day one, he's been, the studio has been getting support, right, and expanded under the leadership of Sony. So why don't we have these extra performance mode, right? Like that, and that right there annoys me.
I saw that too.
It's just the basic quality and performance. That's it. Now I know some people, I think some people are gonna say that it's a smaller studio. All right, I could understand that, but apparently the studio's not small enough to make them go day one on PC. If the studio was that small, why did they make them go day one on PC then? Why not focus on the PlayStation and the PlayStation 5 Pro, get the most out of it?
Well, it's China, right? Because China's big on. Isn't the China big on PC? So they got to get that out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sony opted the multi-plat strategy, and with PlayStation, you do what you could do, and then this is just where I say this whole multi-plat strategy does not benefit the PlayStation 5 console. We're gonna lose more than gain. At best, nothing happens.
Yeah, or maybe they were making it look. Yeah, I see what you mean. Like they need the PlayStation Ninjas in there to kind of really, add those kind of things to it. Yeah, I felt like just from the visual perspective, I agree. Like, from what it is, it seems like for me, the effects, like I figured there should, like the effects look a little rough, like in what when they're fighting and stuff like that. And like the graphics, like it doesn't seem like it's doing tons of stuff to not have all those options, like you were saying. in there. But yeah, I had to play more of the demo and the combat and stuff. But again, with all the games coming out, like almost like got the like even Chronos. Is it Chronos? Is it that one that comes out next week from
like,
Boogers from Blue Biz? Yeah. That one looked. I hope that look good. I like the horror games and stuff. I think we're getting that season. But that with Borderlands, like there's a lot coming out too. So like I might just hold off. I got to play more of the demo though on that and see. But because I like those kind of games, I like those Devil May Cry, those fighting games where it's just like combos and fighting and things like that, rather than the kind of the Demon Souls types like stamina. Let me parry. Let me move close. Like. Like I love Stellar Blade. I thought that was awesome. I even, I feel a little bit like this game. I don't know if you feel the sense of like a little Forspoken combat in this. Like, I don't know, man. I feel a little like maybe it's that thing hovering by you. It reminds me of the guy that you had in Forspoken with all the magic and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
A little weird with that stuff. I got to see more of it and play more of it. I only play like 15, 20 minutes before the show.
So I think more or less this game's gonna live and die off the combat and gameplay for Lost on the side, but I don't think from a technical perspective there's anything there to write home about for the game. So I don't think technically wise it's gonna do anything that's gonna get people impressed. I think the game's gonna live and die off the gameplay, to which I hope I'm still early in the game, so there's just a lot more to learn. Moves, weapons, and all that stuff, weapon switching. So there's gonna be a lot of good stuff on the gameplay. And for a game like similar to the Devil May Cry, that's definitely important. The gameplay and the combat action is definitely important. But given the amount of time this game took to develop, right?
And it got delayed too.
Yeah, it got delayed. Let's just say,
which would have been better if it came out earlier. Like within a better time frame. But
the thing is, they had a day one patch too. So that just tells you those issues. Yeah, that's why I got delayed.
Yeah, and the demo was day one to make sure it got that patch too. Like the demo didn't come out like a week or two early. Like the review I know, like that's the stuff. And even I was saying too, no review copies. And they recommended for the day one. And then on top of that, like even so, like you were saying, like Sony's kind of support for it, they're all over the name with Sony Interactive. Like even them, like I feel like they didn't really give it a big rollout like they did with their games. Like if it's something that they kind of are behind or something like that, they usually put more like an even not only state of play, but like more push. And they only had a couple of like trailers of, here's 1 minute gameplay, here's 1 minute of this, and they really didn't do like a breakdown like they traditionally do. Remember they did with Stellar Blade? They showed that there was like RPG elements and all this depth to it that really surprised a lot of people. Like they didn't kind of have that rollout for this one. I felt like they kind of were like backseated in the sense like, oh yeah, just get it out there and do that.
So I just think like if Sony's gonna fund these games, don't just fund it just for the sake of existence. Like make sure these games actually also speak to the PlayStation 5 console. And Lost on the Side doesn't feel like it's like good on Sony for helping the developer get this game out and get it created, right? But this is definitely not Lost on the Side is not an example of taking advantage of the PS5. It just doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it's an example. It just feels like it's a multi-plat, right? That's Sony paid for, and I was like, if you're gonna pay for something, make sure the game you pay for really shines.
I guess they paid for it to come to their thing. I guess like to their platform. Maybe it wasn't going to go there. I don't know. But, the reason why they pay for this because the developer. Yeah, it was like one guy at first, right?
It was one guy. So he just did like a little tech thing, and it went on the internet, and Sony caught it and contacted him, and they loved the concept. And they say, hey, we're gonna fund this. It wasn't a game that was already made or ready to be.
Okay, so they made it happen. So like, wow! And for that amount of time, they've been funding it too. And you're right. Like for that amount of time, they've been funding that. You would think like, hey, it's finally coming here. That they would have a little bit more of a big push for it.
Make sure this game shines on PlayStation. Don't just
don't just
so many years for the sake of existence. Like, make sure this thing shines. You know, help them make sure the game shines. Make sure you provide, you know, the PlayStation experts in developing on PS5. You know, make sure you be like, hey, we also have to take this game to the next level. Make sure you offer these other performance options. You know, especially for our pro guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, do all this extra stuff and really take advantage of the technical, but you just don't see it there. So, you know, I'm glad the game is made. I'm glad that he got supported for his vision to have this game created, but it doesn't feel like Sony really did the, hey, we got to make sure this really shines, you know, because it could be a new franchise that's like, you know, this could be a great franchise for the PlayStation brand if they really put it on the front stage, but it doesn't feel like they did, you know. But we'll see how the future goes, you know. But I think this will attract the hardcore action gamers that like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, and stuff. But from a visual appeal, some people are just gonna see a few minutes of it and they're like, this doesn't really look interesting. You know, there's nothing there that really that will make a person be like, oh man, that's a PlayStation game. Oh shit, that looked like, yo, I gotta check this out. You know, kind of like what Devil May Cry did on the PlayStation 2. You know, at it for its time. You know, when Capcom showed up Devil May Cry, I remember that. Like everybody was like, yo, you know, because for its time, the graphics look amazing. It was like holy cow, like yo, Capcom did it again. You know, but this game doesn't really show that. But we'll see. You know, for the combat, I have a feeling the combat looks good because I did get a great impression on just how the combat is. I'm like, okay, this is really nice, smooth combat. The only thing I didn't like, thank God I have the DualSense Edge. Yeah, thank God I have the DualSense Edge because the button layout for the game, circle is block and L1 is dodge, and I like the opposite.
Yeah,
I like L1 block, circle dodge, right? Like, but you can't do that. It doesn't let you button.
You
map,
can't remap
obviously.
them. It doesn't have that.
And only
You got to do it with the edge.
Yes. So with the edge in the profile, I have a profile for this game. I made L1 circle and circle L1. You know, then where it comes weird is when I'm in like the menu screen.
When you navigate your menus.
When I navigate menus, I have to remember to press L1 instead of circle.
Yes. That's see, that's I wish they fixed that where they only make it game specific and not outside of the game. Yeah. Like it sucks like it's great that you could do that.
Yeah, but I can see why they did it, you know, because that's probably the only way you really can do it in order to remap a game. You have to do it at the system level. You have to make the game think L1 is circle. So, you know, it's quick. Yeah. I prefer it that way, you know. So now I have L1 block and circle dodge, and it feels better and stuff like that. So gameplay wise, it's so far really good. But I'm still early in the game, so I'm waiting for how's
the story? Like, how's the story with the?
I'm in the beginning, but it's typical alien invasion and all that stuff. So, you know, so far it's all right. But not too bad so far. But we'll just see. We'll just see. You know, my biggest, I'll be honest, my biggest criticism is really the technical. Like, it doesn't look all that great. You know,
like
I'm not really impressed with the graphics, and then the lack of performance options. Just the basic two of quality mode and performance mode. I'm kind of disappointed in that. I'm like, you could have done more. You know, you're getting funded by PlayStation. PlayStation should have made sure that was in. You know, stuff like that.
Those PlayStation ninjas got to get to work.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We got Bobo Country. Thank you for the super chat. Bobo says adults that have all the disposable do not have the time for online BS games. Also, adults and their friends have kids and jobs to align time. Also, adults want stories that are complex and refreshing. I would say I definitely agree. Well, I've been playing multiplayer for a long time, especially raising my daughter. Now, my daughter's out the house, right? She's living her own life and stuff like that. So technically, I have more time to play multiplayer, but I just don't. I just don't have the time to align with clans and stuff like that. Learn the game, get competitive at the game, or not even competitive, but just get good at the game so you can enjoy it, winning. I just don't have the will to do any of that stuff, right? I just prefer story.
Well,
go from story to story and beat the game. I want to start a game and beat
the interesting for me, like multiple, I'm not like competitive wise, like I'm not there to get top of the leaderboards. I'm there for multiplayer stuff. The reason why I like it is for the oh shit moments. Like I want stuff that just happens when you're playing with humans. And things that just like, oh, and that's why I love Battlefield in the sense, like you're just like, oh, I do the Hillary Clinton face. Oh shit, like you had that face going back and forth. You're watching buildings come down, planes coming down, and you're just watching this craziness and reacting to like just humans in an environment in the playground. And like that's why I always like multiplayer in the sense of like it has those unexpected moments. But I love story and that stuff as well. But it's just I'm not there to be a sweat and say I'm gonna get top of the leaderboards. Even in Call of Duty, like I don't think I've ever gotten like a kill streak beyond like 10 or something like that in Call of Duty. Like I'm always the one that wants to carry over the kill streaks and really again watching people use their kill streaks and stuff like that. Like I'm the Leroy Jenkins of a multiplayer. Like I just run in there, your bombs, throwing the grenades, and if I take you out martyrdom style, like that, I'm satisfied. Like that's kind of how I roll in multiplayer games. Just want those oh shit moments, and that's why I really like I gravitate to like the battlefields and things like that because just the grandeur of all that stuff coming down is just wild. Like I said, I was just knocking down buildings on people and watching them scream.
Oh, shout out to Major Claridge gave another membership. So if you got that membership, please give the Major your thanks. I truly appreciate it. Really appreciate you hooking up the chat. Excuse me. Glassdoor Gamer. A Game of the Year contender is coming out in September. Oh, baby steps. People hating on it, but
man,
calling in now. It's going to be a hit with streamers and casuals. Like,
the shit in the pants, the game.
Shit. I'm like, just whatever. If that's what if people enjoy
dude, that's wild. So I don't know what's taking that game so long, man. I don't know what's taking that game so long. Baby step.
And Major Claridge.
I remember when they opened up the state of play with that shit. I was like, what the hell?
Whatever. I've
Who
just
got shit in their pants?
Yeah. And Major Claridge with another two pound, which really appreciate. Thank you so much for the support. For the chat, please hit the like button if you're watching this live. We got Jez Gordon as a special guest. Thank you so much for
Jez Gordon, that's the bootleg.
Oh shit,
this is not Jez Gordon.
Bootleg. I said, oops, we got Jez Gordon.
I got the bootleg song for him.
I see that a lot. We got the bootleg. We got grinding. We got grind. What's grinding his gears?
You got the real one here. I'm not no blogger. I'm not a blogger. I'm not from Windows Phone Central.
Oh shit! Oh snap!
Oh shit! He's already.
Shit! I kept seeing that on the chat. Is this the bootleg version or the real one? And that shit just got stuck in my head because
that's a joke on my channel. He's the bootleg.
It's just a funny meme. It's just a funny meme. And a funny thing you started, right? It's a funny thing you started.
Yeah. That's what I call it.
All right. So hit the like button, for the fact that we got the real Jez on the.
That's right, the real one. The grinder, OG grinder.
Yeah.
Puertorock, speaking about games and developers that don't take advantage of the system, what about Wukong on the Xbox?
Oh my God, man.
Sony money had that thing to remove all the shadows.
Yo, they also no gloom of elimination and stuff like that.
They said turn off the light.
A hard time. They said, we found a way to make it work on Xbox. We're just not going to give you basic effects.
Yeah, they said no, man. Sony paid us enough to turn off all the lights.
Yo,
they said no shadows for you.
And you got shout out to Smooth. He's fighting for his life.
Yo, he going wild.
I don't know why. Well,
that Sony money hat goes deep.
He's like, in my opinion, the way the game looks, the Xbox version looks better without the shadows and global illumination, all this stuff. I'm like, oh my God. I never seen a community cap so much and get so little in return. It is ridiculous.
They were talking so much power of that Series X that it was gonna power your dreams, dude. Try power some shadows.
Can't even power the light.
Shit. Like it was horrible.
Like Con Edison shut the light off.
And they were convinced the money had. Sony went so deep. They go, you're making that for Xbox. I want no shadows. Yeah. I don't want any shadows. I want everything is plain as day. Wukong and Shadow Free.
They paid to keep global illumination away from the Xbox version.
Yeah, exclusive global illumination.
Their money added effects. Like if that doesn't tell you that Game Science had issues with Xbox, nothing will. A year later, and they launched the game.
Remove those trees
with basic effects. Oh my god, yo, that studio's like, they're probably never gonna announce an Xbox game after that one. They're like, you know what, when the next game we're not announcing this. We're just gonna avoid it. Like that shit is insane. That's absolutely insane.
It is crazy that I never seen a game that comes out a year later and it's worse. Same thing happened with Final Fantasy 16 when it finally came there after they said Square Enix will save you, and then Final Fantasy went over there and they said, oh no, we're not getting, and it was worse. Like you would think with the extra development time that these games will come out like better, but it just shows like I don't know if it's boosted the Series S. Or I don't know, it's some RAM crap that Gaming Gandalf put in there. But I don't know what the hell's going on with the console, because I think the Series X has been just bamboozled because of the S or whatever the hell was going on over there. I don't know what they put in it. But developers are just like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Well,
but it's crazy that Wukong came out there.
It's a combination. Number one, the Series S was a stupid idea. It was always a stupid idea. At least if the only difference was the GPU, okay. But they also reduced the memory. Like, that's the one thing you don't want to fuck with. Excuse my language. You don't want to mess with the memory bandwidth. That has to stay the same. Once they lowered that and made it weaker, it's game over. You completely created a different... It's a different console now. It's not even a series console. You completely changed the whole thing. If the only thing you did was give it a weaker GPU, I think it would have been fine. Most games sure would have been 900p, but at least you have the memory to push all the things you need to do. The fact that they also reduced the memory speed, not just the quantity, but the speed as well, you made it slower and less. Like, that's a whole different platform now. That's not in line with that. Like, wow, that is ridiculous.
It's not just a resolution thing, because they talked about teraflops, but the RAM was a challenge. And that's what a lot of things that developers were saying. Like, even when they did Baldur's Gate and the split screen, and they even had the issues with the memory. It's been the memory that's been the challenge for it.
Right?
But
so you got so you got that, and then your commitment to make games everywhere. So you're not even focusing on your own console with the Series X. So even the Series X is not the priority. Because you're making all your games day one on PC. Now you're adding PlayStation to the mix. Hell, it feels like they're prioritizing PlayStation over their own console with, talking about
did you see how many times? Dude, do you see all the stuff with the Helldivers, man? Xbox turned into Helldivers Central. They've been tweeting that thing out like they built it.
Yeah. I mean,
Helldivers 2.
Yeah, but
dude, it's like Taylor Swift's in town. All of a sudden, Aaron Greenberg's putting Taylor Swift pictures out there. I'm like, oh, Greenie. He used to have that Xbox like DX, and now he's like PlayStation's kissing. I'm like, oh crap! How he is mighty has fallen.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest. I see Nix is talking about it. PlayStation's first party studio.
Oh no, I saw them too, dude. They're blazing the shit out of it too, man. Nix is like, we worked hard. It's like,
they don't talk about PS5 though. A Sony first party studio don't talk about PS5. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, this is all weird. This is the weirdest gen I have ever seen ever, man.
Yo,
like
the 26 was the weirdest thing, man. I did it today. If you look, Xbox's Twitter has Helldivers in the banner, and then you look at Sony's and they got Gears of War in the banner. Man, it was such a coordinated effort that it's really like, that's why I said this. It may be the start of, and I think like I know you were saying too. Like, it's PlayStation games are gonna go. They don't see them as a risk. Who the hell knows? Like, but there's no way are they stopping at this. No way they stopping at this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People still think
they're not.
People still think I'm wrong, and I'm like, you convince me why I'm wrong. Because all I'm thinking,
they made such an effort.
All I'm thinking is from a perspective of a shareholder, from a businessman, from Totoki's view. They're like, oh, they know how important, 10-point thing. I'm like, who's they, though? When people say they, don't give me this random they. Tell me a name. Totoki? You think he cares about this? You think he cares about all this nonsense and how we look at gaming? You know, I don't think PlayStation has those people anymore. They don't have the Kaz Harai, the Andrew House. You know, they got rid of Sean Layden. They don't have those people.
Dude, they're riding high right now. That hubris is gonna strike them in their ass.
You know, there's just like that, right? And you even with the talk of hardware, you already seen people saying that, you know, PlayStation 6 is a day one. No mention of what it is, what it does, what nothing. People already committed. So I'm like, listen, I'm not knocking them, but all I'm saying is you're not even making Sony try anymore. You already told them you're gonna buy the 6, and they don't have to convince you of anything.
I can't even talk about
you already purchased it. So Sony doesn't have to do much. They don't have to do much at all to sell the PlayStation 6. It's already been bought with little effort of them trying to convince gamers to buy it. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think Sony sees putting games on other platforms as a risk anymore. I don't see that. And if and I'm
not
like,
yet, it'll catch up.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna catch up. It's when they come out with new hardware and stuff.
Yeah, I just I mean, you saw how long it took to convince PS4 gamers to buy a PS5. They finally this past year.
It's still taking long. They finally.
They finally
got over half.
50%. Yeah. They finally got over half.
Yeah.
But they still have a huge amount of PS4 gamers to go. You know? And it's like.
And guess what? Those PS4 gamers, those PS5 games, they don't necessarily need to upgrade to a PS5. They could go get a PC. They could go play those games somewhere else. And I think you were saying it was like this is the first time. And I think the next generation is going to be like the first time when these games are kind of on other platforms where it may not be the most simple upgrade. And it's going to be like Sony's going to have to really leverage, I feel, in the next gen, their price to performance. Because if they start pricing their stuff up in PC realm, it's going to be a challenge for them to move the next generation stuff. Because now their games, people buy for the games. And if all the games are not in that one spot, they're kind of around. There's other options that people may turn around for. So like that's where I feel that it's gonna be a challenge. I think when they try to move new hardware, they're gonna have like a price that's gonna be it's lower price, but it gives you higher performance. Because if they start going $1,000 consoles, 15, you might as well maybe go get a PC and stuff like that. But again, it's not as easy as just like get a PC, get a console, because there are preferences. And there's difference and uniqueness with both of those platforms. Like I do still think that they do have their strengths and weaknesses for both of them. And if you can do both of them, I think it's great. But there's preferences there. Like when you want to sit back on the couch, like I've tried I have my PC hooked up to my projector and sit back, and there's caveats. Like it works when it gets there, but you got to do like some finagling and stuff like that to get it to try to mimic a console experience where it doesn't do it. But one of the other things that I say that they're going to have a challenge that right now, like you said, they don't have that sense of like, oh, that PC or that stuff that's not competition yet. But and I'm saying like the Xbox and Steam are both making valiant efforts to consolify and simplify PC gaming, controller friendly, sit back, even with these mini PCs, things like that. You are feeding them those things that eventually you're going to be competing, or even putting games on the handhelds.
You're creating
a competition for yourself, basically.
Yeah.
Same thing with the handhelds. Like you put these games on all these ROG Allies and these mini PCs. Here comes all PlayStation 6 handheld. It's like,
for what?
Well, we can play these games on other handhelds. Like, it's like, we'll see what happens. That's why I say Sony FAFO. You think that it's fine? Keep doing it, but we will make decisions as consumers when we see what's available to us, and that's all I could say. We'll figure it out when we get there.
I don't see a mass exodus of people leaving PlayStation.
No, I don't.
What I do see is the transition from PS5 to PS6 being even slower.
Yes,
than what we've seen for PS4, PS5. I think more people are going to stay on the PS5, and those that bought the PS5 Pro, I see more are just going to stay on the PS5.
That means a lot more cross-gen,
PS5
which
even longer. Right?
Yeah.
They're going to hold off on PS6 even longer. So, like, what PS4 gamers started, which is just, we're going to stay on PS4 for a long while, I think it's even going to be multiplied even more. I think there's a lot of PS5 gamers that just going to be like, a PlayStation 6 for what? No, I'm just staying on my PS5. They're gonna make PS5 games anyway. I don't need to pay money for a PS6, right? And definitely like the pro owners, I think some pro owners are gonna be like, I just bought the Pro. Like I'm not buying another PlayStation 6. Just make the game. I'm fine with the PS5 Pro version. I don't need a PlayStation 6. So I think the adoption to PlayStation 6 is gonna be even slower. Which
Oh,
then
yeah.
how does Sony interpret that? Like how does Sony interpret slower adoption of their PlayStation 6 console, right? I don't know. But I think
they spent all that research and development to make it. Like
that's why
they're gonna want to
their
not
best bet.
fill warehouses with it, right?
That's why I say their best bet is don't worry about a new console till 2029.
I agree. That's why I
this-
didn't want to hear about it.
They'll leave it to 2029. Just focus on
Optimize
the
the
games.
stuff what we're doing
the
now.
games out.
Because you're right. Like the thing is, like we used to have this, the way console was, and the way even the industry was like the hardware came out, and then the software would, because the hardware comes out a lot faster than the software evolves to it, and the software will evolve and maximize the potential, and then there'll be a new hardware, and then they'll do that. Like it feels like the hardware diarrhea. And the software is just struggling to try to even keep up to what the hardware release cadence is. And that same thing goes for these mid-gen refresh consoles and all this other stuff. It's like, is the software just not there because they're not taking the time? Because you would remember when we would get, like, just for example, Gears 1 versus Gears 3 was the same generation. And yes, the 360 generation was a long one. But the limitations of the first game, where you were fighting a Brumac behind a wall, like behind the graveyard, you were just shooting at it, to the Gears 3 where the Brumac was running around and you were under its feet shooting at it. Like it was kind of like a very drastic change. Like, wow, we've got this much gameplay change in a generation of the same hardware. We didn't need mid-gen refreshes and stuff like that. But now it just seems like these hardwares keep coming out and the software is just so slow to catch up to it.
I don't know. So like at a minimum, give us 3 more years of this gen, 25, the rest of 25, 26, 27, 28. Then 29, you kick off, all right, this is the new hardware, and it releases in November of 2029. But I think this gen needs a solid 3 more years, at least at a minimum, a solid 3 more years of gaming. Just focus on what we have. I don't think there's a rush for power from anybody on the console space, Optimize your stuff. We don't
rush for games, dude.
We don't need UE6. don't release an Unreal Engine 6. Don't do it. Stick with 5. Keep optimizing for 5 because we haven't even seen what they promised us with
on 2020.
Demo.
I mean,
that still hasn't happened.
Who got glazed with that thing, dude? That was demoed on a PlayStation 5, nonetheless, a base PlayStation 5. Remember?
We still haven't got that, right? Remember the Matrix demo? Still haven't got
the Matrix demo. Oh, that was another friggin' one. Oh man, Keanu and everything. The Matrix demo.
Yeah. Just
Matrix demo.
UA5,
lady flying in the desert.
3 more years. I think let the AA developers catch up because they're producing the newest titles. They're taking the biggest risk of giving us new experiences. So slow down the industry for them. Right? Don't try to outpace the smaller devs with more expensive tool sets and new Unreal Engine 6. Like, no, give them time to catch up. Just focus on the games. Optimize the tool sets we have now. Slow down the industry. Slow down this tech power stuff. They're not keeping up. The devs aren't keeping up. We're getting more and more optimized games. Just optimize what we got now. Don't worry about a new console hardware until 2029 minimum. 2030, I think is, for me, 2030 is preferable. Some people look at me, oh, you crazy, Puertorock. We can't wait that long. Technology, advances. I'm like, bro, even if we did advance, who's going to take advantage of it? You're still going to get cross-gen.
Exactly.
Games.
Like, you're going to run out and buy a PlayStation 6 and play a bunch of crush-gen PlayStation 5 games.
Play Xbox, not even PS5 cross-gen, Xbox Series S cross-gen, because they're not going to exclude Xbox Series consoles either.
Oh, man, Phil won't drop that thing. Yeah.
They're not going to drop, they're not going to drop Xbox, so you're playing Xbox Series S.
You got box in the name. You're not dropping that one. Oh, the Series S. Oh, man.
You're playing Xbox Series S.
They got to cut that thing go.
Sony's first party or whatever game they purchased, yes, PS5. You bought a PlayStation 6 to play better versions of PS5 games. Like, what are we talking about here and stuff? You know what I'm saying? That's just ridiculous. Slow it down. You don't need the new hardware. People
Yeah.
want games. People want more
And on top
content
of that,
games.
they're saying how it's going to be cheaper. It's like, well, wait, you got a 700, and they just increased the price. $750 PS5 Pro. How are you going to have a PS6 out there and be like, oh yeah, the PS6 is going to be around 600. It's going to be good. Like coming up with prices that are lower than what we see now. Like, how the hell is that going to move? You know, and this is the same thing that comes to the ROG Ally X thing that's coming out. If that thing is priced at $900, that ROG from last year is still $900.
It might be even more expensive because of the tariffs.
Either they drop the price, yeah, or they drop the price of the previous one, or this one is coming in at 1,000 or 1,050. Yeah. Well, because like how you have last year's and they haven't dropped the price on the ROG Ally X from last year, which is older hardware.
Yeah.
So it's going to be crazy introducing this new hardware when everything else is still high prices.
Arbitrary price. There's no arbitrary price drop. It's literally based on just how much they spend getting it together, and then the tariffs. That's another reason why I say 2029. Wait till the consoles comes out, because 2028 is presidential election. We get a different president, right? And that president will fix all this tariff bullshit. Hopefully, right? Hopefully, America will be like, all right.
Somebody said tariffs were ruled illegally.
Yeah.
Somebody just said tariffs should be ending by October 15th.
They're not going to do that. Who's stopping them? He's not listening to the courts. When he has listened to the courts, like no one's holding accountable. You know what I'm saying? So he's not listening to the courts. The tariffs are going to stay, but at least in 2029, with a new president, depending on who America elects, they could be like, all right, we're done with this stupid tariff shit. We're lowering the tariffs. We're going to get back to not being ridiculous, and then 2029, we could see at least better pricing for electronics and stuff. But
these companies, like these companies, will, even if it's not the tariffs, they're going to use every in which way to increase the price.
They're not going to drop the price. Yeah,
like even
I agree.
They weren't saying because of the tariffs. They increased the price of everything.
Yeah, especially lack of competition. Like what's PlayStation 6's competition for next gen?
What do you do? What are they gonna do? Look at Nintendo with the Switch 2. It's competing against itself. It's like, yeah, whatever.
They raised the price of the Switch 1, and it's still selling. I mean,
exactly,
it dropped dramatically, but it's still sold enough.
Nintendo wild.
It's
they're gonna use every excuse, to increase the price. Like, even if tariffs are not there and stuff like that, if they could get more money and squeeze that lemon dry, they're going to. So that's what I mean. Like, talking new hardware, what prices are we talking about here? Like, we don't buy hardware, we buy the games. Like, if the games are not going to take advantage of the hardware, then what's the sense of having the hardware there just to say I got the new thing? Like, after a while, that kind of wears out.
Yeah, that's why I think like I said, just like how we saw how long it took a lot of PS4 gamers to go to PS5, I think it's going to be even longer for PS5 gamers to go to PS6. I think gamers are going to stay on the PS5 a lot, especially when some gamers feel they didn't get a lot of games. So why would they jump to a new console when they still have this feeling like, where's all the Sony first party? Some gamers feel like they didn't get enough PlayStation games this gen. So why would they
Corey
just jump?
Like, Corey, it's this craziness. Like some of these studios that they got, just like incognito.
So some people, their perception of how much gaming content they got, a lot of people don't feel satisfied with the amount of content that they got with the PS5 especially from the first party, to where why would they buy a PlayStation 6 for content they should have gotten on the PS5? So some people are really going to stay on the PS5 for a long time, more than normal. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I feel that grinding my gears a lot regarding their support for the PSVR 2, like I feel like that was a fought in the wind, man. And they dropped that, like from their first party, like the support that they were providing for the first one, man, they were porting games over, they were adding VR modes, and the fact that they really never took advantage of the PlayStation VR and like a social game or a community game or anything to kind of really enhance your subscription that you pay for, your trophy rooms, like even not PlayStation Home, but like something where you look at the Meta Quest and what they do in the VR, and like it is a lot of social stuff. They want service games. They want people to get lost in the meta world, where you could build a PlayStation meta world with your IP, man, just like you did with Astrobot. Like with Astrobot, like, reflecting all the IP and the legacy that you had. Think about what you can do in an environment or even in a social environment, game-wise, or anything in VR. And the fact that they have this very capable hardware, they got the console to use that hardware. I just can't believe how they said, here's climbing with Aloy, and then they were done. They're like, yep. And now we'll just use everybody's games from VR and porting games over from MetaQuest.
They didn't even try to incentivize developers to try to update the PS1 library of VR games. So that
exactly.
Way they, PS2. They didn't even do that.
Exactly.
Now listen.
Yo, Dreams is not even VR2. Nixus, what the hell you doing? The Dreams on VR2, please? Like, goddamn. With a medium molecule, that's another.
Yeah, so I'm like, and I'm like, listen, VR is not that mature where you could just ignore a whole library of VR games. PlayStation VR is not that mature to do that. Like, you need your PSVR 1 games. There's way too many games on there that people. The fact that there's a whole library that's on VR2, that doesn't make people confident to support VR2. Because what if you did it again with the VR3? That's the message you're sending, right? So
burn me once.
So it's like, it's just a little bit of insanity. Glassdoor Gamer with the super chat says, I bet PlayStation leaves Steam for MS Store. I doubt that. What
did he say?
He says he bet PlayStation leaves Steam for MS Store. I doubt that.
The way they've been grabbing ass this week, who knows, Glassdoor? Aaron Greenberg got them kissing like Taylor Swift right now this weekend, and Sony loves it. I don't know what's going on.
I think MS will leave MS Store before PlayStation leaves Steam. Like, you're leaving for MS Store?
They're gonna rename it to the Xbox Store.
The Xbox Store, right? Oh, shout out to Glassdoor Gamer.
Yeah.
I think Steam is the PlayStation of PC. You want to sell your games, you put it on Steam. That's just how it is.
PlayStation not making their own store.
You want the sales, you sell on Steam. If you don't sell on Steam, you're not getting the sales. That's just how it is.
No.
Glenzer, Xbox ROG Ally is day one for jokes.
No, Glenzer, you getting it? You getting the what?
Where that box is.
This box. Yo, that thing is that thing was hilarious. I was covering that earlier, man. Mm-hmm. The hands-on and the people going like, wait, this is an Xbox, but it doesn't play your Xbox console games. It's like, holy shit, yo, it was wild that people went there thinking that that there was some magic was gonna happen. Dude, there's no emulator. I don't know what they were listening to. I don't know why they believe that Microsoft blatantly just saying stream it like a portal. That's how you're gonna bring over your library. I have 350 games on my Xbox. 23 of them work on the PC box in the name. They don't come with you. They want you to stream it from your console like a portal. That's their coverage, dude. It is wild how they are pushing this Xbox Asus ROG Ally as an Xbox, and dude, it's a PC. It's the same thing as last year with some love handles and an Xbox button.
Yeah, so I think for Microsoft strategy, it's a good Trojan horse to get Xbox console gamers used to PC and have them think they're still getting an Xbox, right? Because they swear this is an Xbox device. So Microsoft's marketing worked for their own family. It didn't work for the rest of us because we're not idiots.
You got glazed.
But for the Xbox gamers, they are all in on calling this an Xbox. And they'll make all the excuses in the world. I'm like, even talking to bro, the Legion Gold does the same thing. You got Game Pass. You can play the Play Anywhere titles.
I got the MSI Claw.
You could do everything that Xbox ROG Ally do. The only difference is you have weaker hardware. Yeah. That's about it. It's just the specs.
Well, if you look at the specs of this one, this thing is not that it's not yielding the frames from the Z1 to the Z2. The hardware, this chip that's in the Z2, the X, it's not yielding double the power. What the price is, a few more frames in the initial test.
It's not that dramatic then. So the performance is not that dramatic.
No, it's not.
Okay, so look at that. So not even that.
Not what they initially shown.
Yeah, so it's really nothing. It's really a nothing burger. Nothing
we
that
need
an
to wait
MSI
and
Claw
see,
owner or Legion Go or Legion owner or even our original ROG Ally or ROG Ally X owner has. Nothing really different, right? But the Xbox fan base sees this as an Xbox, so what that means is Microsoft marketing worked, right? They got them conditioned. So what's the next step? When they release their supposed quote-unquote console, we're going to see it as this is a PC. This is just a pre-built PC, but their fan base, as long as their fan base sees that as a console, it's a win for Microsoft. That's ultimately.
I'll tell
I think,
anybody: do not trade in your Xbox for this thing because it's not going to play your Xbox games. So, like, some people are like, oh, I'll trade in. Yeah. I think it's going to be an Xbox until they announce the price, and all of a sudden, it's going to be when they see that thing at $1,000, they're going to be like, oh yeah, that's a PC. That's not an Xbox.
No, they're still going to call it.
You'll see everybody change their tune.
Nah, these guys, they're not changing. They're committed.
No, because Puertorock, they're going to be saying Xbox at $1,000. Nobody's going to want to see that.
They don't care. They're just going to say that's amazing. That means it's powerful. These guys are committed. They're not going to criticize Microsoft. They're not going to criticize them. They're not. They are not. They're going to make every excuse in the world. They're not backing down.
Until they get they get the free one.
They are committed to the marketing through and through. They are not going to hold Microsoft accountable. They're going to embrace PC gaming no matter what. They are. They're committed. They are not. They are not going to call them out.
They're in it.
Creating a problem. They're in it.
They're triple glazed. There's no getting out.
Yeah, until Microsoft bows out of gaming, they are all in. Everything they
do.
Until
Phil Spencer resigns.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they're all coming. They're not going to call them out. Because remember, if that was the case, they should be calling out the Xbox ROG Ally. Because they were saying, because this is an Xbox, because they could play the Xbox library games. While we were telling them, no, it's a PC.
Over the cloud.
You're only going to do PC stuff. And we were right.
Yep.
Now they're changing the narrative. Oh, it was never meant to do this. Bullshit. That's why you guys hyped it as an Xbox. Now all of a sudden, an Xbox that doesn't do Xbox things is okay. Like, come on, man. These guys
doesn't have quick resume.
Nope,
it doesn't have quick resume right now, and it doesn't have this feature. And what's crazy is, like, I was watching, so there was a couple of, and what I was saying is that now they're in the PC realm, and the thing is that they have PC people now going to break these down that do these handhelds and stuff, and they're going to run this thing through the gamut, and they're already asking questions. I've watched a video from one of the guys already, and he was asking a whole bunch of questions, and they didn't have answers for him. They're like, not at launch. And what I was surprised is that the whole new thing with this is the Xbox app, and the fact that the Xbox app really, it's still a development in progress. Like, they really are just trying to front end this thing. It's not an OS. It's basically turning down some processes to start with, and they're going to evolve it from there. But that is going to come to all the other handhelds as well. So there's nothing inherently in the hardware of this new Xbox thing that has any hardware benefit for their app. Their app is just going to be working there. It's more of a beta test for them to get some feedback on how their app in a handheld space will work, so that they could tweak it, fix it on this $1,000 or so device, and then get that app ready to go roll out to everything else. So that's kind of what their MO is going to be. But you're right. They basically are saying you take your console games with Play Anywhere, which is not a big like that they're doing right now. They're still
not really the
it.
console games. That's just
it's not
PC
enough.
Game. Yeah, a lot of people they're trying to talk to me. Oh, I could play my console game through Play Anywhere. I'm like, bro, Play Anywhere is you buy your console game and you get the PC version for free.
The PC version, and not even the Steam version. You get the Xbox Store version, which usually doesn't have Steam works. It doesn't have a good mod support. It's all protected and locked away in the Xbox hidden apps, like, the Xbox, the settings and stuff. It's not even the Steam version. And some of the Xbox version games or the Windows Store versions of games don't get certain, like, there was ones that didn't get FSR or didn't get like some of the features that the Steam version got. It's pretty wild, and it's all PC. So there's a lot of work they need to do, and I think that Microsoft marketing and stuff is like probably 4 years ahead of where they're marketing this stuff now. Probably they should have. It's probably 4 years from now they should be calling things an Xbox before it could play the games and stuff. Like, I thought they would have some sort of emulation or something to bring over your library.
Because that's the only thing that makes sense.
I think so, but again,
I think they're going to improve the emulation on the PC to get these games. But I think, like you said, they're way too early. Like, they're advertising Xbox.
They're too early on it. They're jumping the gun.
Yeah, they jumped the gun. They jumped the gun a lot. They did the marketing without the actual result already in play.
Yeah,
they just calling things.
But I
Xbox
do think,
just
though,
for the sake of calling Xbox for no reason.
Yeah, but I think what they're doing is definitely trying to address the annoying shit that goes on with Windows and gaming with Windows. Like, I appreciate the effort, but it's like you had opportunities all along. Why now, and why so quickly, and why so rushed in beta? Like, I hope it results in much better compute, like playing on the PC and controller friendly environments and things like that, where you could just plug it in to a TV and you get kind of like that Switch feel with your PC. But dude, it's Microsoft, and we've seen what they've done. They tell you a bunch of promises, but they never really follow through. And somebody comes along and does it better. And actually, there's apps right now that you could get a better experience, like with Play Night and stuff that I use, that basically it boots up with your PC and it does the whole launcher and all that other stuff and gives you a nice controller friendly interface for your games. Like even things like Steam OS and with Steam Big Picture, like Microsoft has a lot of work to do to get their Xbox app to be like Steam Big Picture mode. So they got a lot of work to do, but again, they're marketing this thing as an Xbox. They put their foot in their mouth so many times before, but there they go again. And Phil Spencer leading the charge.
Glassdoor Gamer says MS will try to pull a game night. Keep your Steam games and load them through our app, but new games buy here or sub to Game Pass. MS only takes 13% cut. I don't know. You know, it's just all wishy-washy. Like this gen has been more focused on just future things and interfaces and like what happened to optimizations and just focus on the games,
right?
Make sure they run on the platforms that they're on, and make sure it works to maximum performance. Like it's all about this future stuff, and it's like, and then they want to raise the prices to $80 on top of that for what?
Right?
You're not even like the games. Some of these games ain't even worth $70. You're not optimizing that stuff. It's like you want more.
Even Battle World 2 at 80.
Yeah, like this is
wild.
Like I said, if the industry quickly adopts $80, now I think without them realizing it, they're pushing gamers to look at subscription games. In my opinion, I think this forced price hike of $80 will now have more gamers who at first wasn't interested in subscription to now be more interested in subscriptions. Because when you think about $80 games is $240. So it's like I might as well just spend $240 or $220 a year on Game Pass.
So they're trying to price people out with all that stuff.
No, I don't think it's intentional, but I don't think they'll realize the consumer will adapt. Because there's going to be a point where consumers like, okay, this is way too much for me to play games, right? I know some gamers they'll adapt and they'll still buy $80 games, but you having a lesser pool of people. Right? So then people will be like, damn, man, games at $80. Where the hell am I going to play my games? You know what? I might as well look at these subscription services. I might as well look at Game Pass. I might as well look at PSN Plus Premium and just, that's it, be done with buying games. Other than the odd every 5, 6, 7 years for GTA 6, for the GTA game, and maybe a Spider-Man game or something. But like most common games, I'm good. Like these $80 games.
Yeah, but you see though, but if that was gonna happen, then the thing is like then Microsoft wouldn't be in the business now trying to sell games again, because they would just be like, and you see not a lot of publishers and developers want to jump into the subscription stuff, and it's because you didn't see that mass adoption of it, so they want to stay out there and see how that goes. But some do take the bag up front because maybe their game, they're not sure how it's going to go, and here it is, and they either become viral and they do well and they hit and strike oil, or they go, yo, that was a great move because we probably wouldn't sell, so I'm glad we got the paid up front and it's in the subscription and stuff like that. So really, I don't know, like this whole subscription model I think is still not really universally accepted by a lot of the publishers and stuff like that. Everybody, because I think in all of it, they want to sell their games. Like they want to make that money up front. They want that movie theater thing, just like how like that whole movie theater shit changed. Remember when HBO Max was putting like Matrix Day One on HBO Max, and then as soon as those theaters opened, everybody was trying to get asses back in seats. They didn't kind of stick with like Day One, because I remember when they were doing that with the COVID stuff, and everybody was like, see, movies Day One on the subscription. Microsoft was right. And as soon as those theaters open, they're like, get your ass back to that movie because I want to sell you $25 each of those asses going in those seats. I want to make money on you. And now and maybe even Tom Cruise was out there going like, yo, I'm making a movie for the theater. Let's get asses back in the seats. Stop staying home. Yeah, if a movie does not do well, it gets on subscriptions. But people want to sell. They want to sell those games.
But you
They
see
want to
how
sell that
fast
stuff.
you
'cause
see
they
how
wanna make their money back.
fast they leave the movies to the subscription. That gap of staying in the movie theater.
Oh, well, yeah. If it doesn't do well, it's
decreased.
coming to.
It decreased.
It's coming.
Superman is already available, and that did pretty good.
But it's like,
for a decent
it's
movie.
digital at home though. You got to pay like 20.
Yeah.
You got to pay
You know
like
what I'm saying?
$30 for it.
Yeah,
or $25.
but it's still
I mean, it's
cheaper than a movie
subscription.
theater. It's still cheaper than a movie theater.
Well, yeah, you can have a whole bunch of people at your house.
$40
Yeah.
is just the tickets to go
Yeah.
see that movie
No,
with
I
two
know.
people, right? So it's like you raise the price again to $80. That changes now the whole dynamic of the consumer and video game. They'll be like, wait a minute, buy a game for $80
Well, people become more
with
critical.
no noticeable improvements.
Yeah.
Like
I know.
people are not even seeing the improvements with the $70 that's supposed to be coming. Like you said,
I know.
the ray
Oh,
tracing
Microsoft-
and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's still wishy-washy.
They increased the price $70, and their first game was the freaking Redfall. That was like, oh, we get increasing the quality $70 for the cost in the games and quality of games, and then Redfall was the first $70 game, and they were gonna make Outer Worlds 2 their first $80 game.
You saw how that turned out. Like people,
yeah,
nah.
they said nobody was
The
pre-ordering that thing.
pre-orders was bad, and
Yeah,
it's really interesting, right? Let's talk about one last thing. PlayStation 6 handheld. How you feel about that?
I think that it's. I think the idea of taking your games on the go, because as you get older and stuff like that, you can't just go away to your game room and play these games. Like you can hang out, watch some TV, but also have this handheld. That's how I use my handhelds there. And I like doing the Portal. I like with the handheld PCs and stuff like that, because it gets more game time in when I can't just say, hey family, I'm checking out, everybody sleeping, I'm going downstairs and I'm going to go to the Grindhouse theater, I'm going to play. And I like the idea. And also when you go on vacation, going away and stuff like that, I like the native experience too. Like having a solely cloud device is very limiting. You go on a plane, you go on a cruise, that thing is just, you really can't use it. So like having a native device to play your games on is definitely clutch. The Steam Deck and all the handheld PCs as well, like having that ability is great. So I like the idea of taking your library of games on the go. And if they can make them run, in lower powered states and stuff like that, again, they don't have to. And I know this from playing on when I play on the MSI Core, or I play on the Portal and stuff, like you don't need. Well, even when I play natively on the console, on the handhelds, the thing is that you don't need to turn up all the features and stuff, because you're playing on a smaller screen. Like you really probably want the more frame rate friendly situation. Like you don't need to turn on, everything needs to be ultra graphics, because it's such a small screen. Even the resolution, like a 900p as opposed to 1080p, like you can make those caveats there. So like I think if they could get those games running on a handheld, I do think it's really cool, as long as they don't develop games for the handheld that may limit the power of the capabilities of the other one. And I know that's a double-edged sword there, dude, but it is it's interesting. I think it's good to have, because you have this investment, these libraries, and wouldn't you like to take them with you? You have 1,000 games. If I could have them in my pocket and I could put about 20 games on a system or something like that and take it with me, and they go with you natively, so you don't have to worry about internet connections and stability and all that stuff. I think it's good. I think it's good, and it's gonna have to be, it's gonna be something interesting there. How much it is, what's its capabilities. I would love, and one of the cool things I thought that they should have did with the Portal, but again, but like have it dockable. Like you could basically take that handheld. And they had it with the PlayStation. What's crazy, Puertorock, they did all this shit with the Vita. Mm-hmm. All the remote play, plug in your Vita to your TV and play it, and use the Vita as a controller when you put it on your TV. Like all this shit was with the Vita. And what's crazy is like how it's all coming back again. And they know how to do handhelds, and they know hardware. So, it's interesting. I like the exploration for it, and it just takes the library on the go. Like I think that's what even the appeal of a handheld Xbox is like, these people have these libraries, take them with you to play more. And there's certain games that just work on handhelds. You know, that's the other cool thing. And I remember back when the Xbox 360, when we're going to the Xbox One, I was like, why don't they just make like an arcade player? When Xbox Live Arcade, they were doing it, because there are games that you're not going to sit on your OLED 75-inch TV and boot up one of these like arcade games, like these arcade games, but you bought them. They kind of will come in clutch if I'm waiting at a doctor's office or I'm waiting at an airport. Those kind of like smaller games that I bought in my library, I'm not going to maybe sit down and say, hey, I got an hour to play today. Let me play this nice arcade game, you know, this indie game or something like that. But some of those come in clutch when you're out and about and you want to play your big, you know, surround sound, immersive multiplayer or story-based game when you're sitting at your gaming area. And, you know, these other ones that you have in your library will be nice on the go. So that's where I think a handheld will come in valuable too, because some games just click on a handheld.
Mm-hmm. So
what do you think? Do you like the idea, or do you do handheld gaming much or not much?
No, I mean, I enjoy the Portal, right? When I'm you know, it's a good device, great device. My only concern with the PlayStation 6, well, not in the PlayStation, but the PlayStation handheld, because supposedly talks about it is also being dockable, which I get it, right? Most of these handheld devices are dockable in one way or another. I just don't know how they're gonna handle the balance between PlayStation 6 and the handheld, which is again another concern on top of everything. Bad enough we got cross-gen gaming, but is there gonna be some parity? Meaning, you know, if you make a new game for PlayStation 6, it also has to work in some way on the PlayStation handheld? Or is the PlayStation handheld just pretty much primarily for PS5 games and older games, not so much for a lot of PlayStation 6 games? Maybe some PlayStation 6 games, like the indies, the smaller single-A titles, you know, things that could run on a PS5 and the PS5 Pro. But let's say like the big blockbuster, you know, the bigger titles that, you know, can only run on the PlayStation 6, if they even decide to do that, because they may not even decide to do that at all for the entire gen, right? Because they want everything. They probably, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if when the PlayStation 6 comes out, they still want everything to work on the 5 Pro, the handheld, and the PlayStation 6.
You said it's gonna be hard to migrate people.
Just work on everything, and it's like, what the hell? Like they teach, they treat the PlayStation 6 like a GPU CPU upgrade on PC. Everything still works on the previous, you know, hardware. It's like, I don't know what Sony does, right? I'm not really confident or really clear on what they're trying to do going forward. Other than the only thing I'm clear and I know is they have a multi-plat strategy. That I'm clear. Maybe not to what extent, but I know all their stuff is multi-plat centric. But as far as their hardware and how they manage their own hardware, it's just not clear. Like, are they all about, you know, during the PlayStation 6 gen, the handheld, the PS5, the PS5 Pro, and the PlayStation 6, and they're going to support that concept all gen long? Like, you don't even have to buy the. I mean, is that their attitude? Is their attitude when the PlayStation 6 comes out is you don't have to buy a PlayStation 6? It's there if you want to, if you want to enjoy the benefits, but you can stay on your PS5. Is that their attitude?
Dude, that's wild.
Maybe.
Dude, that's some Don Matrick. That's some Donnie D talk right there. Yeah. We got a console for you. You want to go online? Oh shit.
Yeah, like I don't know what their thing is. Like
some Donnie D.
Yeah, but think about it. They could be like, no, if you don't want to buy a PlayStation 6 and you want to stick with the PS5, buy a PS5 Pro. Yeah, go do that. You'll still get our games if you choose the PS5 Pro. Like what?
Submarine.
Like I don't know.
Yo,
you see, it's so confusing. Like what they're trying to do, and what message they're sending.
Well, remember when Jim Ryan was out there, he's like, my job is to get people from the PS4 to the PS5. Remember that was like his whole like shtick when he first came on, and we still didn't do it all the way.
But now that's gone. Now they're embracing. Now they call it multi-generational strategy. And that's what the thing was saying. Everything changed from the beginning of the gen, and even just right before it. To now, all their stuff, they're backtracking or completely changing, right? I remember when Jim Ryan did say that. His job is try to convert PS4 to PS5 gamers. Now they appreciate the multi-generational strategy. They love the fact that they're still making money off the PS4. So it's like, so what does that mean during the PS6 gen? They're going to love that they still get money off of the PS5. And they're probably still going to sell
Yep.
the PS5 and the PS5 Pro for like $550 and $750. So what does that mean about the price of the PS6? That shit could be $800, $850.
Yeah, could get it when you feel like it, but you know what? Yeah, like stay where you are. Like it is on Donnie D talk. Like and the thing is like and then what happens is that when you buy the new hardware, it's like you're not going to get the games to take advantage of it because they're still doing the whole cross-gen type games and stuff like that. And I don't know what their strategy is. Like I really like, and you look at what the specs on stuff, it looks like they're trying to just keep it relatively like. I don't no clue what the hell they're gonna do. It is the craziest thing. And Totoki got his head up his ass, and he's gonna be so glazed with everything that they're doing now. I don't even know. Like Cerny come out there and he'd be, it's right. The PS6 has a super SSD, and he's gonna go wild out there. And it's like, well, Cerny's talking,
but they're still making games for
PS5. How much? He's like, I'm gonna introduce PSSR 2.0. It's like, oh shit, Cerny, what 2? He's like, PSSR, we're gonna do Pissa 2. We're pissing on them too. Like, I have no clue, like what they're gonna, how they're gonna sell this new one.
Yeah,
or the Dual Sense 2.
And we already
set the Dual Sense 2.
Yeah, we already set the trend that cross-gen games is okay. Because PS5 didn't stop selling because the games were also on PS4. So it's like we already set the standard. Like cross-gen gaming is fine. It didn't impact PlayStation 5 that a lot of these games are on PS4. Sure, you hear the conversations, you see the podcast, but as far as the actual consumer, they were still buying the PS5. No issues with cross-gen games.
It took them this long too. Like to just hit the half the mark. Like people are still on PS, and I know a lot of people are still just cruising on that PS4, man. They're like, no. And I do think though, but Puertorock, one thing we're forgetting the 3 words, the 3 letters. GTA. I think that is gonna, people's eyeballs are gonna open up, and I think we're gonna have a new novice conversation narrative when GTA 6 hits next year. I think that is gonna be a pivot point, and I think we're gonna have to see, because right now I think we're right on the whole thing. Like, what's gonna move? Like, what's going on? And I think there's that game that's gonna take that PS4, those Xbox One owners, and they're gonna be like, "Yep, it's time." Like they're gonna look up and they're gonna look at their credit card and go, "It's time."
Yeah,
and they're going to say now it's time for GTA 6. But that took
Take-Two to make that happen, not PleStation. That's not a Sony
no shit,
thing.
exactly.
Take-Two is doing more for PlayStation
Sony should be doing
PlayStation is. Now, here's the crazy part. Here's the thing. This is why I said the transition is going to be longer. Once Grand Theft Auto 6 is on PS5, we're not seeing another Grand Theft Auto 7 for 15 years. So what's going to make a PS5
That's my grandchildren will be playing that one.
What's going to make a PS5 gamer jump to PS6 when there's no Grand Theft Auto 7 on PS6? What's going to be that game from Rockstar?
Yeah, a great point. Yeah, great point. Like there is not, because you're right. This happened. This is a once in a lifetime chance. Once in a lifetime. What is it? Yeah, you're right. Like what is that? Because there's not. It is like a generational thing to have a GTA game come out this long and do this, because you're right. It's not going to make no GTAs unless they come. Yeah, what is it? I don't know.
Because remember,
you're right, and it's up to.
There's no GTA on PS4. It was a PS3 game in 2013. They did the remaster, whatever.
That's right.
But PlayStation, there was an entire generation of PlayStation with no Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto 5 was a PS3 game, 2013, and now in 2026, 13 years later, we're getting Grand Theft Auto 6. So sure, it's going to move PS4 gamers on PS5, and once that moves happen, they're staying on PS5 for God knows how long. They're not going to jump on PS6 for what? They got their Grand Theft Auto 6. They're going to go online and they're just going to stay there. They got Fortnite, Madden, Grand Theft Auto 6. No need for a PS6 for these guys. So if Sony wants to sell the next God of War, or if Sony wants to sell X-Men, right? Because X-Men's like a 2030 game or whatever, right? It's part of the future roadmap.
Yeah,
that's a PlayStation 5 game. That's not that X-Men's not going to be a PlayStation 6 only title. That's PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro. Guaranteed. Yeah. Guaranteed. That's on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro. Don't expect X-Men, right, to be that.
Well, you got that install base. Like that's always the thing, like the install base. But what they do, they bypass it by making them backwards compatible. So like they'll put it on PS6, but they'll say like this game. But yeah, I don't know. Like, and you would think like it's up to them that if they are coming out with this next hardware, either one of them are. It should be up to the manufacturers, the first party of those hardwares, to give Valen software and things that push like we traditionally we used to see. Like it was the first party who usually led that charge, not Take-Two, but like the first party would lead like here's our lineup and this is what you're gonna do. And well, I don't know. We haven't seen like a lot of the studios. It's been some time. Like, and I know I'm not saying that we haven't got PlayStation games and it's a much better start of this generation than the PS4 generation, because that's the whole beginning of Indie Station of PS4. I was on Xbox One. I was playing those games. I was playing Titanfall and stuff. I had no interest in the PlayStation 4 early on, but then you get in the Uncharted started coming out and God of War, and I was like, oh, okay, now I think it's about time now. And this PS5 was much better with its launch and everything like that, but it is definitely getting a little spooky out here when we're not hearing or seeing anything about these games that were teased or what these studios been working on, like Media Molecule, Dreams, not even updating the thing for PS5 or PSVR 2. Like, what is Media Molecule doing? Corey teased his game when he was doing the Ragnarok, going, hey, I'm not doing Ragnarok, I'm doing something else. It's like, okay, well, what are we doing here? Neil Druckmann making movies, thinking he's Steven Spielberg. Now he's like, oh, I'm gonna start making games now. I think we're done with the TV show. I don't know what's with some of these guys. Studio Bend, poor Studio Bend, man. I like Days Gone, and I feel like Herman Hulse he loves his Aloy. I love that Aloy. Oh, my girlfriend. That's Herman's girlfriend, is Aloy. He puts in everything. He can't wait to give that Horizon multiplayer game with 12 Aloys running around. He's like, oh, I got the Aloy with blue hair and red hair, and they're going to be running around in multiplayer. Oh, he loves his Aloy. He loves his Aloy. But he has it out for Days Gone, though. He don't want any more Days Gone. He turned that shit down. But what's Studio Ben doing? They got them working on some God of War, some horse shit. I don't know what they're doing. So I don't know what's going on. Bungie's face down, ass up in a hole somewhere. And Marathon is not going to be.
It was Blue Point.
Marathon not doing shit.
God of War. Blue Point was the.
Blue Point doing God of War. Who was Studio Ben working on? They were working on. Or was it Blue Point? One of them was doing some bullshit.
Sony Ben had a live service multiplayer game. They didn't explain what it was, but it was Blue Point that they found out it was some type of live service game.
Oh man, Blue Point,
which is insane.
Try, man.
Which is insane.
Tio wants Everwild. Those shit, man. Rare's doing Sea of Thieves updates. There you go.
No,
that's all they're up to. They canceled my favorite game, goddamn Perfect Dark. That piece of shit, Microsoft. Yeah, we're going on a rant now. They canceled Perfect Dark right underneath my nose.
I mean, just to show you how crazy this gen. And about 2 months ago, this dude from Naughty Dog. Oh my God,
Neil Druckmann.
Neil Druckmann. He said he wrote like a letter to inform the community that he's off after now that the end of season 2. He's done with it. Now he's going back to focusing on gaming.
Yeah.
Now he's
coming back. It's like, yo, when did you leave?
And he's involved in the writing of Intergalactic.
I remember. That's what I was saying.
And I'm like, what you mean involved in a writing? Like, this game isn't written yet? Like, you're still developing the writing? Like, when is this game going to come out then? Is this a 2027 game?
Oh, shit.
2027.
What you mean? They just have, they're going to have just that other one? I call that one the friggin' Saros. Is that what it is?
Saros.
Is that all they're going to have? Is that one tentpole title?
I think right now Wolverine should be soon. Hopefully that's a 2026 title. Saros, 2026 title, and Saros. maybe Intergalactic is 2027.
Man,
I think that's what we're getting.
Yeah, and this is. I want to ask you, what the hell is Sony doing with Spider-Man 2? How did they not have a DLC plan? The Venom, the Carnage tease, like what the how? Like the first game had a DLC, the story elements. What the hell are they doing? Spider-Man 2 just sitting out there.
I'm gonna give this. I'm not gonna give Insomniac too much smoke.
I know you're not gonna shit on Insomniac.
Only because they did more than anybody else. So if we're gonna be that petty over DLC, I can't be mad at Insomniac I'm just saying I can't be mad at Insomniac for not having a DLC to Spider-Man 2.
I just love Venom, man.
When I don't even got a new game from Naughty Dog at all.
No, I know what
nothing.
you mean. I got
what
you,
we,
but
you know what I'm saying?
With Venom, dude.
I mean, yeah, but like, I mean, I get it, but I'm not gonna give them that much smoke when we're not gonna get a Sony Ben game at all this whole entire gen. And I'm worried about Venom DLC when I got studios like Sony Ben that makes nothing. They made nothing. We gets nothing.
I know. No, I got
Naughty
you.
Dog,
But the thing
the
is,
number one studio gave us nothing. And I'm saying nothing because I'm not counting remasters. I already played those games. So I got nothing from Sony
20 times.
From, you see what I'm saying? You know, like would I love a DLC from like the way they did it with Spider-Man, you know, extras, you know, Venom DLC? I absolutely would love that, right? But if they're not doing it because they're putting their energy on Wolverine, at least I know why.
I get you there, yeah.
I get it. They got to get Wolverine out the door, so I understand.
Toki wants the money. He wants that's all money. They're having Nixus put games for a few people over on Xbox for this money. You got Venom. You got the Spider-Man 2 cooking. Like, there's money there. Like, what are you doing? Like, where's that? Like, what are we doing? We're out here begging for friggin' chump change when you got shit right there under your nose with the IP, with the movies.
Put Nixes to make the DLC instead of putting games on Xbox. Exactly. How about you do that?
Just prioritize on this shit right there.
Prioritize Nixes to make the DLC.
Miles Morales movie got pushed out next year. Where you're sitting on this shit right there? What are you doing?
Well, I don't care about movies.
DLC for Carnage, like exactly. Like you're sitting on this shit, and that's why I don't want to roast Insomniac because they covered the shit out of this generation. They cooked, but the thing is like you got this IP sitting there, and to Tokyo, what's the money is not there. The money and Herman Holtz going one tentpole title. Tentpole my ass. You got this shit sitting there right there with DLC potential. Talk about what they did. They lost Legacy with Uncharted. They had that shit was awesome. That was fire. They just did Ragnarok. Like, you know, they did the whole thing with they did the awesome DLC with Horizon. What the fuck? What Spider-Man do? You leave them there?
Yeah. The only thing I can say is
Horizon DLC. I know Herman loves his Aloy.
The only thing I can say is because of Wolverine. If Wolverine's a priority, you know,
I hope
that's why I'm not giving them too much.
Doing.
That's why I'm not giving them too much smoke because they're focusing their energy on Wolverine getting that out, which, you know, hopefully that's a 2026 title. You know, and if it's a 2026 title, then we know that. So hopefully it's that. Wolverine is dead, bro. Man, shut up, Baron. They literally talked about it on their
Hey, Ron. He go play with his Donkey Kong banana,
Aaron, shut up, man.
No, wait. I want to. Wait a second. We got. Wait.
Aaron saying stupid comments like he.
I heard
they literally talked about it like.
Wait. Puertorock. The grinders told me that apparently Aaron, there he is, was exposed on your channel.
Oh yeah.
As a PlayStation gamer.
Yeah, he plays more PlayStation. He doesn't even have an Xbox. He has a Switch.
Oh, Aaron. Oh, shit.
PlayStation and Switch. Like, what are we doing here?
Oh, man. I thought he was all Switch because all he did was talk about Donkey Kong's bananas. I thought he was all Switch, but he's a PlayStation? Hey, Aaron, I'm disappointed.
Now he's a Switch user. He never had an Xbox.
You went from PlayStation to Switch?
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron. What happened? A Donkey Kong banana glaze got you.
He knew, shit. You know, he knew better, though. He knew better not to get an Xbox. Like, come on, Dad. Who's going to make that stupid-ass decision?
Yeah. Well, no, you're right about that, but I can't believe he went
At least I could respect the Nintendo, you know, because of the exclusives. But he knew better not to fuck with Xbox. Even he knows Xbox is dog shit.
Nah, Aaron knows that. He knows.
He knows that. He knows his dog shit. He's like getting that Xbox.
But I thought so he's all he was
Xbox dude.
The bananas.
I thought he was Xbox dude. I'm like, no, he's not Xbox. You know what I'm saying?
Found out he was a Switch owner when he was hyping up the bananas.
You know, oh snap. But at least he understands the value of exclusives. You know, that's why he didn't hype.
Oh yeah. Thank goodness. At least,
Now Trucknet, he be hyping Xbox, and I don't know why. Like that console's dog shit. Like goddamn Truck. Like that console. Like he's more worried about.
You should be emailing Phil.
Like, man,
Where are the shadows? Where are those shadows on Wukong?
that guy's hoping.
Are they coming in a patch?
My man's hoping for a new console in 2026. That's how bad Xbox is. Like he says, close this gen up, wrap this shit up.
they can't wait.
He wants
they can't wait to trade those things in.
Once he saw Wukong with no global elimination, Chuckner was like, "I'm done. I'm done with this brand. Give me the new."
I haven't seen the. Yo, I'm calling it the Sony money hat. Yo, Sony had. I have the contracts. They're deep in the contracts. They say no global illumination in the Xbox version. There it is, man. They paid for it. Sony paid for it, man. They even got it. Those contracts run deep. That's what happened, man. No global illumination.
Okay.
They said that shit can't happen.
All right. So let me ask you this: how you feel about PlayStation's live service strategy overall? Like, how do you feel about the strategy, and what's your opinion on how they executed it so far this gen?
Oh man, I think you know the answer to this one. So, this whole thing. First off, the Bungie shit is a disaster. That whole buying Bungie to get them to advise them on how to make multiplayer and the service stuff, and they kind of went through with the pen and paper and the glasses, and were like, yep, check, and just started like scaring people, like say, oh, this is gonna be a lot of work, take it from us who don't know how to, like, who don't do shit. Like Bungie was a mess. That was a knee-jerk reaction to all the purchasing acquisition season that was going on. I think on paper they thought they were going to do a lot more than what they did, and now they got Marathon, which that thing's coming out hella high water, and then they will be absorbed by PlayStation there. But their service game, I think, has definitely derailed a lot of their what's been going on and some of the complaints that we've been saying. And one of the things when I first thought when they did these live service games was that they weren't compromising the studio's first party, the games that they make, like the Naughty Dogs and all them, but everybody was still gonna make the shit that they were gonna do that they're good at. And this live service stuff was going to be the Firewalks or the Fire Sprites, or the Fire, whatever the hell they were. And, Jade Raymond Studios with Haven. Like, we're just going to buy a couple of these other studios and they're going to take the risk in this live service. But then when we started finding out that they were taking the ones that do the cooking and having them make appetizers and make desserts. And it's like, yo, these are the guys that make the entrees. Don't put them on friggin' garnish. And that's what they were doing. They said that, you guys over here that used to make the filet mignons that everybody been eating since PS4. Well, now we're going to put you start sauteing some spinach. It's like, oh, shit. And then we started finding that they were compromising their own studios for this service. And then I think that's where a lot of us were like, yo, this shit backfired. This is when we started seeing a Studio Bend out there and a Blue Point, and we're like, oh, whoa. Now we might not get games from them. And I think this live service, this golden goose that they've been chasing, it's Concord happened, and I'm glad it happened in the sense that it really it took something that extreme to realize that we need to pivot and change. And how effective they do that, dude, I have no clue. But it is created like a kind of a lull in their kind of rollout of games and when they show games and what they're hyping up. And I don't think Fair Games I don't see anything on the roadmap moving forward that's going to have any success. Maybe the Marvel Token game, I think that was definitely something. If that's one of their live service ones.
So that's a good.
It's a fighter. I
know
that's a good one
service, too. But it's a traditional fighter. It's not.
It's a traditional fighter, but yeah,
they just adopted. The season pass, season fighters. That's fine.
Yeah, and there's other things like Fair Games, Marathon.
That's
I don't see those doing any
Fair Games. It's a problem because apparently they went back to the drawing board after the reception. Supposedly, apparently, allegedly, after the reception of what they've seen with Marathon, they are not confident in making another Extraction live service game. So they went back with the traditional looter shooter, and that's what caused Jade Raymond to leave. She doesn't want to make a traditional looter shooter, so she just left.
Oh God! Well,
that's what.
Yeah, none of that.
Allegedly, that's what happened. She didn't that's not her vision for Fair Games, and they're like, no. Sony's like, we're not gonna risk another backlash with another extraction shooter. They want the traditional looter shooter multiplayer, and Jay Raymond's like, nah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, y'all have fun. You figure that out. And she left.
Oh my god.
That's
Yeah,
allegedly.
well, that's
which makes sense.
Yeah,
'cause I would be
allegedly.
pissed off, dude.
Yeah.
If I created a studio and this is a vision one from a studio, and now you come and tell me no, that's not my vision, then hell no. Then forget it. Then I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
Yeah, it's
wild.
pretty
So
crazy that
does make
she
sense.
like. Yeah, like she left. Like it wasn't like a mass exodus of other. It was like
it was
no,
just her.
to create. Like she left. It was her studio. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
But she's like,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm out. Wow, that's.
But I
this
just
is
don't.
wild
Yeah,
times.
I just think like the way the live service thing has gone. I really think that even not just from Sony, but this like what's other games come and go, and I think the gamers too. I think are getting very cautious in what games that they're going to do a live service in. You see, it's the hotness for a couple of weeks or a month or so, and then they tweak a weapon, and everybody's just like, "Yep, I'm done with it." Because guess what? They move back to what they were playing before, and it's like some of these streamers and stuff just jump on it because it's the hotness and everybody's playing it, and then they do some things like even Marvel Rivals, like it's there, but like it's not the hotness that it was when it first launched. Like everybody was just hours in it and stuff like that, and then after a while the skins only go so far, and just the same game modes and the grind that people just go back to what they do, and you see these games just getting like, yeah, we're done with it, thank you very much, and you realize that people spent a lot of money and time in the content of that live service, and all of a sudden they just wrap up shop, and it's like, oh, okay, well that's all gone now. And then you got to think like, well, when the next live service comes, are those people going to do the same thing? Most likely they're going to be cautious on it and not adapt all the skins and stuff. So I really think live service is really a crapshoot. It's a hit or miss, and I think it's one of these low risk, high rewards for them. And we're kind of the guinea pigs in the sense of like what we gravitate to, and they just want to get those couple of blue whales out there that just keep these games alive and give them their recurring revenue. But I think Sony needs to focus on what they do best and what they do, and if they want to build franchises for movies and entertainment and music and all that other shit, they got to come back to the quality narrative stories there. And it's tough to do that with live service. Like a live service game is not going to basically turn into like movie stories. Like I don't think Helldivers maybe, but like if you want that kind of that transmedia type like things with your IP and that growth, you're gonna have to come back to what made you what you are. And I think that live service push, I think they should just stick on Helldivers and maybe another game and just start doing what they do and develop to the strengths of their studios. Don't take a studio and say, hey, you made incredible story and narrative and graphic, and now you want to know what? Why don't we have 5 people run around here and shoot at each other, and let's put on some Halloween hats and some chaps, assless chaps, and have them run around. The kids will love it. And it's just like, that's not what they do. Like, so don't do that. And I didn't like when they did that. And that was akin to similar to what Microsoft did when they told their studios, like, hey, guess what, guys? You develop for everything now. Yoo-hoo! And they're like, what? They're like, yeah, well, we're part of Microsoft and Xbox. No, you do everything. Woohoo! And they just turned and didn't do the strengths of these studios. And that's where Sony really needs to rein that back in. So that's the one thing. I didn't think it was, I think it really created a gap here.
Mm-hmm. Corey,
But yeah,
he said,
and I played them.
Who are these first-party studios Sony made live service? He says Blue Point wasn't first-party until Sony bought them after Demon Souls, but so
and then they made them make a multiplayer game.
Yeah, so we start with Blue Point. So after Demon Souls, their next project that Sony paid for was a live service game. Sony
God of War game, and then Studio Bend made.
Okay, so Studio Bend was also tasked for a live service game. Naughty Dog. Mm-hmm. Literally,
Naughty Dog
really
one.
Screwed. Yeah, Factions, they canceled that one, right?
That has got to be the biggest flub of it all. And I think Neil Druckmann had his head so far up HBO's ass that he was like, yeah, I don't have time for this. And I think that Factions, I think would have been it would have been something, I think, because that would have been unique, something different. And I think it would have had potential in just the design of how it would be and the uniqueness of it, and even the way they could even tie it into the TV show and shit. Like it was practically writing itself. Like you could have the characters from the show, and then, even the crazy look Ellie type, the different Ellies running around. I don't know, but like you could have all different shit going on from tied into the show. But yeah, but Neil Druckmann has head up HBO's ass, so he's like no time for that. But yeah, they did that. Who else did they did? They did another one that they canceled. Well,
and then after that, it was just a bunch of cancellations, but they never explained.
Yeah,
with who?
London Studios. That was another one. Weren't they working on a service game and Jim Ryan shut them down after he took their cookies? I think they were working on a live service game. I thought so. Well, a True Cat, the Xbox guy, brought that up.
All right. Corey Massey says
he's asking about all games that Sony canceled.
Corey says Naughty Dog announced
I think they were doing a service one
before all this live service stuff. Stop it. Y'all reaching. Wait a minute. No, we're not reaching because just because Naughty Dog announced it before the public information, that doesn't mean Sony wasn't talking about it internally. You see what I'm saying? Like just because we're not the shareholders, so it's not like it's not like Jim Ryan woke up and be like, "Oh man, we're gonna start a live service strategy. Hey, gamers, I'm gonna start a live service strategy." Clearly, this live service strategy didn't start in 2020, 2021. They were talking about that long before.
Puertorock, did anybody think
that's what I'm saying
that Blue Point would be making a God of War multiplayer game when their key was remastering PlayStation classics?
You know what I'm saying? What are we doing, Corey?
Nobody.
Man? Bro, you act like we get day and date decisions from Sony. So Jim Ryan woke up one day, I'm gonna do live service. I gotta let the community know today. This is stuff they have already years in the books and cooking. The Zero Live service happened long before they talked about it. We're just catching up. Right, you know what I'm saying? Well, it's kind of like Helldivers. Dude, Helldivers was already being cooked long before we knew what was happening. So if anything, we should have saw the signs of wait a minute, Naughty Dog is trying to make a bigger game like live service. What does that mean? And at first we just written it off as just a Naughty Dog thing. Right, but that could have been all part of I think most likely it's all been part of the plan. Because now that we look in hindsight, this isn't like it was just things are it really how would you say things that don't align is it's not a coincidence. None of this is coincidence. All this stuff was not a coincidence. It's bad decision making on PlayStation's part for some stuff. Right, that's just how it is. It is what it is. And we don't even know the stuff that has been canceled and who was supposed to do it. We don't even know that. We just don't even know that one, Okay.
They were so London Studio was developing a live service game, a fantasy co-op combat title set in modern day London before they were shut down in May 2024. And saying Blue Point, I'll admit for myself, Blue Point, I had my thoughts were never that a Blue Point was gonna make a a God of War multiplayer game. Shit, I never played Ascension, and I knew that was ass, and I wasn't even on PlayStation for that.
That doesn't even make sense.
Blue Point was made. They made Shadow of the Colossus remake. They did the Demon Souls one. They were people wanted them to make remakes of PlayStation classics, remake a SOCOM. I think people were thinking they were making a remake a SOCOM or somebody make a remake or something. But my goodness, nobody thought they were going to do God of War, so that was a surprise. And then Studio Bend made an open world zombie game with this stuff. They're making a live service stuff unless they were making, if they're going to do something out of a Siphon Filter. I don't know.
I didn't think because I don't know how the game would come out.
Spider-Man. Oh, the Spider-Verse online.
Yeah, but that was a concept. That was a concept. In Insomniac never.
Yeah, but somebody on PC already made a multiplayer of it. So there you go. So you put your games on PC, they make the games for you.
Yeah, but I saw it, but it's corny. It's stupid. I wouldn't buy that. When I saw the mod, okay, fine, a free mod that you upload. But have you seen it? I wouldn't pay $70 for that shit. Get the fuck out of here. PC gamers are look good doing things you do. When I saw it, I'm like, this shit, I wouldn't waste my time. It's just a bunch of jumper guys just fighting shit. There's no purpose behind it. I mean, granted, it's cool for a free mod, but don't compare it to an actual product that you would pay for. Like, come on, man,
Yeah.
stop this trash. Like, this shit is trash.
But they did cancel
Um,
that. They had that whole like that
well,
Spider-Man thing
well,
in
there
the
was a
Insomniac
concept.
hack.
It was a concept that they never greenlit. So I'm not gonna say that's canceled.
Mm.
You know, just because I come up with an idea and I said, yeah, I'm not gonna do the idea. Oh my God, you canceled. Like, no, motherfucker. Canceled would mean I greenlit the project. I got money for the project. I started the project, and now I'm not gonna finish it. That's a canceled. But me coming
Well,
up
was
with
it
ideas,
counted in there? Like,
no,
was it counted in there? Jim Ryan
budget,
kind of
no,
12 games in the next 2 years thing.
no, it wasn't budgeted.
Was it one of them?
The budget wasn't approved. It was.
Oh,
it was
so
like,
it wasn't. It
no,
wasn't.
it
In
wasn't
the...
approved. It was all artwork, and then they decided, yeah, we're not doing this.
No, they
And
showed
probably
that gameplay. Remember the
no,
Spider-Man
that wasn't
gameplay?
that wasn't their game. That was a PC game that somebody modded. It wasn't theirs. They don't have a
Really? The
yeah.
one with
They had-
with Spider-Gwen in it and stuff like
they
that?
had like a
I thought
they
that
had,
was like
they had like a concept trailer and stuff like that. There was no game.
that show. Cool.
Yeah.
I thought that looked cool.
It was concept trailer in the game. I think because ultimately, right? Again, if you're gonna do a live service game, like they're a decent sized studio, but they're not that big. Like if they started working on that, what does that mean for X-Men and Wolverine? Those games will be delayed.
Yeah.
They will take even
Probably.
longer, you know. So I think Insomniac weighed all the responsibilities that they have to do. You know, they got to get X-Men out the door, eventually, right? Because that's part of their licensing agreement. You know, Wolverine's got to get out the door. So I think Spider-Verse is just
Got to
something
get out
they
the
need
door,
to do.
man. That has been announced
You know,
for a while.
and then Spider-Man 3, because that's also another title. They just have a lot on their plate. You know, Wolverine, Spider-Man 3, X-Men, and that's assuming if they don't try to push out another Ratchet and Clank, or if they want to try a new IP.
It
So
is.
you see what I'm saying?
How do they do that stuff?
That's why
And
I
you're
don't
right.
give
There's other
Insomniac the
studios are
smoke.
sitting there.
That's why I don't give Insomniac
Yeah, right.
the
And then
smoke.
those other studios.
Yeah. Like they already
Yeah.
released more games, and now they still have to balance Wolverine, another Spider-Man, because there's a trilogy at a minimum. X-Men, who knows how they're gonna flesh that out and how big that's gonna get, and then possibly room for either another Ratchet and Clank, or if they decide to go with a new IP. That's why I don't give Insomniac smoke.
Yeah.
They've done a lot, and they got a lot coming.
They are,
So,
and even
know,
that
there
roadmap
ain't
looked
no
crazy
studio.
too. Like you guys,
Like what other studio in gaming is on their level? What developers on their level?
nobody, none of them. Nobody's pumping out the games like they did. Nobody.
Yeah, nobody.
Nobody did. Naughty Dog is. I tell you, man, that Intergalactic, that shit better be the next break. I guess to be break the internet that game.
Yeah.
For how long it takes. It's taking them.
Yeah.
And same thing. Like I can't. And even like what is the other one? Like Media Molecule's another one. I brought them up a couple of times. Like what the hell are they gonna cook? Like what are they gonna do?
I don't know, man. I think that studio's done. I think that studio's cooked. Because did Dreams really do much?
I don't know.
I know some people give it praise for what it is.
Yeah.
But
I liked it. I
successful?
like Dreams. Like
Yeah, but was it
but
successful?
again, I don't think it's I don't think it was anything that's gonna like justify them not making a game in so long.
Yeah.
Like Dreams came out. I think I remember playing Dreams in the first at PAX East, and they had what was the other? They had what the hell was it? They had the robot game that was made by that guy. Oh man, that was shit. What the hell was it? Now I've drawn a blank. The one with the robot making the decisions and stuff like that. What the hell was that one? What the shit? Whatever. It was somebody in the chat will remember. But Dreams was there, and now I thought I forgot. But that the Detroit, no, not the Detroit Become Human. That's what it is. Detroit Become Human. Thank you. Detroit Become Human and Dreams was like at the same PAX East, like when I was there. Like that's how long ago that shit was. It's craziness that they don't have that Media Molecule was like there with the Dreams and like what are they doing? And then you gotta say, like, I know Gran Turismo, they stake forever and put those things out there, but like they just kind of keep adding content and stuff to Gran Turismo, which is, I guess that's not a service game, but they don't classify that. They classify MLB The Show as a service game, but they don't classify Gran Turismo though when they were during their financial stuff, their fireside chat.
That's true. To Corey, he said the live service strategy was an investor in 2020. Factions 2 was announced as a spin-off because they couldn't finish the single player and the multiplayer made in 2019. It's like, no. When they announced that the multiplayer was not part of factions. They announced factions was not part of The Last of Us 2 because it became bigger in scope. They had a different direction. They were not making a traditional multiplayer with the game. They announced, that's when we first got the announcement that faction is going to be a game of bigger scope. Ultimately, live service.
Yeah, they decided to spin it off in its own game because they do.
Not because they couldn't finish it in time. No, they made a decision that the game is bigger in scope, so it's its own game. Oh. In fact, I remember
the message. It was a black screen with white text. I remember.
Yeah. I remember the conversation would be like, but wait a minute. People who buy The Last of Us 2, do we get the game for free, or is this a separate game we have to buy?
Yes, because it was still like a GTA.
And and they never answered. They never answered. But they did say it's a separate game because the scope is much bigger. You know?
Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah, when they started promoting it, because you're right. When it first came out, people thought it was going to be like a GTA thing where, the multiplayer will come after, like later on, like in a month or two. And then it's like, no, it became more ambitious. And then he started talking about like it took on its own life, and then it took on its own thing. And then that's where it became its own thing as faction separate. And then they showed the concept art with Jeff Keighley's Summer Smuggling Grapes Fest. There you go.
Yeah.
And then the next year they canceled it.
That's what I'm saying. And the crazy part is, like, look what Factions 2 did, right? Not only did it delay, like, it delayed the priorities. It shifted priorities for Naughty Dog, right? Because we still don't got a new game from Naughty Dog, and it's 2025. And we most likely ain't going to see a new game from them in 2026, right? Which is crazy. But the PlayStation gamers who did buy The Last of Us 1 remaster for $70, they couldn't get The Last of Us 1 multiplayer. Because the logic was, why are they going to waste energy on Factions 1 and bringing it back when they're going to give you Factions 2? That was the logic.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people ask, wait a minute, you remade The Last of Us, a full remake, but you're not, for $70, but you're not going to include the full game? Well, yeah, you're not going to include the full game because you're doing Factions 2. It's stupid to make Factions 1. Why would you invest?
Yeah, you're right.
And you didn't get that either. So you didn't get Factions 2. At least you would have had the remake of Factions 1. But you don't even get that. So you got nothing. So it was a total L. It's a total L.
Yeah.
Delayed the
Naughty
tempo.
Dog, man.
Delayed the tempo, and you don't get a remake of Factions 1 for those who did buy The Last of Us 1 for $70. You don't even get that. So it's just a huge L. You know?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, the fact that they didn't do that. Like, yeah, there's definitely that live strategy. Jason Schreier gets ready for his novella, you know. Mm-hmm. And next to his Halo one, he's going to write a Halo 343 one. He's going to write first, Jason Schreier, and then he's going to write one about the Sony live service strategy. Yeah. He got a whole. He's going to be freaking J.J. Abrams. He's going to be writing. The Token or whatever. He's going to be writing the novellas. Yeah. 343's got to be one, man. That's got to be a multi. Oh man, I get to hear about that one.
Yeah. So
but they
that's
did.
It. I mean, it's just a weird transition, Sony implementing a whole bunch of strategies all at the same time, with their multi-plat strategy, with PC, live service strategy. Who knows?
But they're doing good. Puertorock, see, that's the craziest thing. They did, and then they talk about their financial. They're selling the most they've ever did. Like, I remember when we did Xbox, and it was just like they're not releasing games. It's like, we're doing wonderful, and it's just like, and then you look at Sony, and it's like, They made all these things, but they're like doing the best that they ever, they ever sold.
But
does
it feel like what
are they motivated?
But does it feel like as a PS5 owner, does it like, do you see all that success? Like, I don't. I mean, PS5 is good. I don't. But with the amount of money they're making, I'm like, man, how does that translate as a PS5 owner?
Like I said, Venom, where is it, man?
You don't see nothing, I mean, like, it's just like, man. It's just like, it's like, okay, even, it's just like, and I could see their growth and I appreciate their attempts to grow the Chinese market with their, China Hero Project, Korea, Middle East eventually, Middle East. But to me, that's more ingrained to a multi-plat strategy. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's just a weird, this is just a weird. It's just a weird PlayStation. It's a weird leadership. It's a weird PlayStation. It's just strange what they're doing and how they're doing it and stuff. And I don't see it as a big benefit to the PlayStation console owner. You know what I mean? It's like I think the best term is like it's almost like they're making PlayStation console as an agnostic device. In a way,
Oh, that sounds like something else. That sounds like somebody else did that.
Oh shit, you know what I'm saying? It just seems a little by little agnostic as stuff. It's like it's just weird seeing what they moved to Toki. And it's all driven by Totoki. He didn't grow up in the PlayStation culture. He didn't grow up. He wasn't like the Kaz Hirai or the Yoshida when they interned with Sony. They interned in the gaming sector, and and they spent their whole career in that culture, and and their whole point.
Kaz Hirai came back with the vengeance. Like that was the thing. Like he was like the PlayStation's Peter Moore type thing, where Peter Moore came to Xbox and he wanted a vengeance for Sega at Sony. And Kaz Hirai got laughed off the stage with giant enemy crabs and the crazy stuff that Kutaragi fucking put him out there with the cell PS3 architecture. And when he got head of PlayStation, he's like, I want vengeance.
I'm coming with the back. Yes, he's like, I'm coming back strong. My legacy's not gonna end with Ridge Racer.
Giant enemy crabs.
Hell nah. No.
Get a second job.
My man did not play.
He made sure PlayStation.
We're gonna make PlayStation great again. Oh man, that man did not play.
He did, man. He was like, I am not. When he became the president of that thing, he's like, I'm not going out like that.
CEO. Yeah, when he became CEO, he's like, okay, game on. I'm
competition, dude. Competition. Drive the best times of gaming. Like, Peter Moore driving in there. He wanted to stick it to Sony, making tattoos on his ass. He made real tattoos, not no goddamn Phil Spencer was he tattoos. He was
going after Sony. He was going after PlayStation.
He put GTA and Halo tattoos on. There wasn't no fan fest. Phil Spencer was here or Hovis Method.
You know what that is? To drop $50 million just for DLC. Time DLC for Xbox to prove a point. That's competition. 50 million, especially that's a lot of money during that time, because that's like a whole AAA game. A 360 game costs 50 million. He said, I'm gonna drop 50 million to get downloadable content for Grand Theft Auto 4 on Xbox. Play with me.
He did downloadable content first. He didn't. And what's crazy is that the previous GTA it came later to Xbox. So it was such a statement just to get GTA 4 on the same day. But then in addition to that, we're gonna dig the knife deeper and say, and we're gonna get 2 expansions only on our platform. Like, dude, that was cutthroat, man. That was wild. And people say anti-consumer, but you want to know what? Sony, they missed out on the DLC, but they made a response in other things. Like, and that's the thing. Like, they're gonna try to find their way to counter. Whoa, they just kicked us in the nuts. Well, we got to kick them back. Let's do something else. Let's sign this guy. Let's get this deal. And now this competition is elevating everybody to compete for our money, not just chumming out there and say you're going to pay just because you're a sucker or a whale, and you got your mom's wallet for the weekend. No, you're going to compete to say, like, do I go with this one or do I go here? Because you are really selling me a good deal, but they got a better deal. All right, they gave me a good deal. Can you do better than them? All right, you got. I'm going to come to you now. Oh, but wait, he's offering this now. Are you going to do that? And who benefits? I do, because I got you 2 warring for my money. And that's where people don't understand. It's like, that's what you want these stupid companies to do. You don't want them to sit back and just be making money because they got they just kind of sit back on cruise control. You want them to be hungry. You don't want them to be complacent and lazy. You want them to be hungry, because all wallets should be driving their decisions. That's what you want to do. So, like, this whole kumbaya is nice in some games and everybody plays and all that stuff. That's nice in some instances, but there still needs to be some cutthroat business that needs to go on to get us to get us motivated to spend our money, especially when there's a lot of competition out there, and not just between games and games companies, but it's with every type of entertainment. There's noise all over the place. Your phone blasts every second, all notifications and stuff. Everybody is paying for attention, so you better pay for mine.
Yeah. All right. Okay, brother. We're gonna wrap this up. Let's get everybody. Hey, everybody! If you so far enjoyed the show, please hit the like button. We're gonna get a new member. We got D487. Welcome to the family. Truly appreciate it. But hey, man, let people know where they can find you and what you're doing out here.
Yo, this is an awesome show. I love chatting up with you, man. Thank you again so much for the invite. Everybody, hit that friggin' like button And you could find me over at the Gaming Grindhouse, Jez7780 on YouTube, Gaming Grindhouse on Monday nights at 8:30, 8 o'clock, not 8:30. Oh shit, nah, it'd be too late. 8 o'clock on Monday nights, and then I do shows throughout the week of the Grinds Bites. But also too is exclusive gaming music that I do as well, that I start my shows with and make memes and jokes and some awesome funny music there. So it's a lot of fun. I like to call it gamer entertainment, where we just have a fun time and just have a blast. But thank you again. This is awesome. And then Puertorock's on Tuesday. So there's your Monday and Tuesday entertainment right there of gaming news.
Yeah, what a way to kick off the week with what's grind your gears on Mondays.
That's right. And then 60 frames no lag on Tuesdays. There you go. Is your week.
Yo, shout out to Glenza. Says PR has great guests. Jez is top tier. Absolutely.
Yo, thank you.
Really appreciate it, man. They really enjoyed it. Hey, Silverwolf, man, that your little comment there means the world to me. Says the mic performed great, P-Rock. Yo, you know what I mean? You don't know how much that means to me. I put in work. What was it on Wednesday? So let me tell y'all. So I did a private video, private live on myself. So I went live, but it was private, so that way nobody could see it.
To say,
I don't know. Well, I had to do unlisted. I had to unlisted, so nobody knew unless you got the link. So so then I sent the link to my phone, and I'm talking, I'm listening to myself, and I'm setting statements, listening to myself, and I'm hearing this reverb, and I'm like, man, what the hell is going on? I'm going through settings and all that stuff. So I will explain to you guys what exactly happened. It was just a stupid little thing, but it was this shit right here. All right, it was this shit right here. So let me see. I want to make sure I'm not showing something that I'm not supposed to be showing. Okay, nah, this is all right. This is all right. So what you guys are seeing is pretty much my dashboard, right? So you see my dashboard, right? This right here, voice meter, right here. When you click the engine, and you go to properties.
Are you showing up? Let me see.
Yeah, you should be seeing. It's like a little delay.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the motherfucker. Yeah. So this right here was the problem, right? So this right here was the problem. For whatever reason, so this focus right, USB audio, that's the Vocaster one that I bought. Because my mic is, what's it called? XLR? What's that cable called? It's XLR, right? XLR cable?
Yeah, XLR cable.
Yeah, XLR cable. So I use the Vocaster one to go through it, and the Vocaster one is connected to the laptop. But for whatever reason, this setting was on voice meter output. So it was using itself instead of the Vocaster. Because what I have, I have the mic connected to the Vocaster.
So it was looping it.
It was looping. Yeah. So like, watch. When I click this, watch what happens. Now, for those of you right now, you're probably hearing it, right? You're hearing the little fan, that little feedback, all that weirdness and stuff like that. Because the voice meter is looping itself as its own source, and that's why it's sounding weird right now. And I'm like, this setting is stupid. It shouldn't even be here. It should be this, because this is what, it was just weird. It was just that. And that was the main problem. And I didn't even know that was happening. Because other things, like, watch, if I click on Discord, like I click on Discord, you don't even get a setting like that. Like Discord already knows to use my voice meter banana. So this shit don't make sense. Yeah, the hum, right? So these, like, he hears it louder, but there's a hum. Yeah, that hum is whatever, right? Now, as far as everybody saying super quiet, I think I can fix that. I think I just
one of the things I do notice is you may have one of your threshold things that may be kind of like when you talk at a certain volume, it cuts it off a little bit. It doesn't let you finish. So you might have like a threshold limit that you might have to increase the threshold so it doesn't cut you off sometimes. Because I notice sometimes you fade out, like you just go like at the end of a sentence. Sometimes there's
so it could be a higher threshold than what I'm supposed to.
Yeah, increase the threshold, because what it's doing is that your noise cancellation is probably canceling out. It's too high, too sensitive, because it's cutting out some of your voice when you kind of fade out.
Okay, all right. I'll look into that.
Yeah, that's some wild shit. PC stuff.
That's the next project That's the next.
That's the
project.
next one.
Yeah, right.
Stay tuned.
One step at a time. One step at a time. You know, one step at a time.
That's the sequel.
Baby steps. I have my own game. Baby steps. That's
baby steps.
And stuff, right?
Shit.
You know, but I also look at the game settings and stuff like that. But other than that, you know, finally figured it out, and yeah. But anyway,
hey,
man,
good
the
on
only
that.
friend is,
But no, sounds good.
So Jazz, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming through. I'm glad you were able to take the time and rock out. You know, you were highly requested. I crashed the system. Did something happen? A ringing. Yeah. Okay, now we're good. We're good. Anyway, thank you so much for rocking out with the show. Hit the like button on your way out. But I hope you enjoyed today's Friday Night Live with special guest Jazz from, you know, the gaming grindhouse.
Grindhouse. Anyway, that's one.
Oh man, but of course you'll follow up on Tuesdays, 60 frames no lag, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you check that out as well. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Stick around for more content, and membership opportunity is around. Thank you for everyone that supported the channel with the super chats and the memberships, and then of course just showing up and joining the show. Again, hit the like button when you're out, and you guys have a great Labor Day. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Be safe. You know what I'm saying? Don't drink and drive. Don't drive and drink. Take a Uber. No excuses. Be safe. Enjoy yourself. And we're out of here. You guys take care. Peace.
Yep.